Hello, and welcome. First pre-session of Fate Slashed Harmacist. Do they? No one says slash, right? Actually, it's just Fate
No,
Harmacist.
I think they
I
just
don't.
say Fate Harmacists. Yeah.
It'd be Fate State. I thought Fate.
Fate
slash
stay slash night.
Yeah, I just realized that. So welcome to Fate Harmacist. Fate slash Harmacist. That's how I don't. We'll figure it out.
No, I like Fate Harmacists more.
Fate
honestly.
Harmacist. Okay. Yeah. Welcome to the first free session of Fate Harmacist. How are you all doing? This is not our normal type of content, as it were, because usually we are live in front of a live audience, in front of a chat. But instead, we'll be recording, because this is only going to be a session between me and the handsome Skorak over there.
I finally get to play.
Yes, Skorak finally gets to be a player. And I get to be a DM for the very first time for this channel. We will ignore the last time. What last time? It's okay. This is the very first time you're seeing.
What if it needs to be on Originium?
Exactly.
Can it be eaten?
Can it be?
How does it feel, Dio? The unlimited power.
Don't you worry. During this little session between you and me, you will understand what I do with unlimited power, and it will be potentially painful. We will see.
I am equal parts excited and dreadful.
Yes. So, you may be asking a question like, what is actually going on here? What is a pre-session? And there's a fair question, because not everyone does pre-sessions, and if they do, not everyone does them the same way that I enjoy doing them.
Yes, Dio. I will be the audience surrogate. What is a pre-session, Mr. Dio?
Talking to chat is already psychotic. Trying to talk to an audience in the future is even more weird. Anyway,
it doesn't exist.
What a pre-session will be, and what you'll be seeing uploaded 4 times, because we have 4 players, will be a one-on-one session with me and one individual player of their life leading up to the start of the campaign. I like to do this for multiple reasons, mainly because it helps integrate the players into the world, helps them actually get to know individuals and individual characters in character. They get to talk to some of them, and also Skorak can do whatever he wants inside of this pre-session, and that can actually shape the rest of the campaign. So his actions here can be extremely influential. Maybe potentially a character that was supposed to die doesn't have to die. We'll see.
The character is supposed to die of my pre-session.
Don't worry about it. Maybe I'm just talking nonsense. Okay. We'll get to it.
Cool. Well, that's fine.
Yes, so that is what they're going to be. They're not technically necessary for any of you to watch, in case you were curious. Going into session 1, which will be assumingly in 2-3 weeks time, depending on how fast I can make these. But it just gives a decent amount of backstory and helps the players get to know their characters and get to know the NPCs that they will have known throughout their life. Really RP centric stuff, and maybe some combat, because we, in case you do not know, are switching over to Pathfinder 2nd Edition instead of 5e, which was a time teaching 4 players who have never done 2e. I even forgot some stuff about 2e, yeah, but ooh.
It was certainly something. It was an experience. It is certainly a TTRPG system.
As Kaiser said, I fucking hate feats. But after that is one of the reasons why we've been delayed on the main channel. But we're finally here. All 4 of them have made their sheets. All 4 of them have made their characters, and we are close to actually doing live sessions again with all of you in the frozen hilltops of Tibet. But before that, we're going to narrow in on one specific character, one Elizabeth Blair, an old family from Scotland, specifically Edinburgh. They are exiled from their land for reasons not talked about very often. She has grown up as a exiled noble. What is she doing here? What did her family do to get exiled? How does she tie into all the major plots? We will have to wait and see. Oh boy. Dungeons and Dragons, huh?
Does a mind count as a kind of dungeon?
Is a kind of dungeon. You think it would be a better idea to have most of the session be on the chill session or the actual play session where they can see the map?
You know what? You're the DM, newly christened. I will leave that to your discretion, What do you think is the most,
Okay, I'll move them over to the map so they can get to see the map a little bit more.
They know
Okay.
where the the home of our dynasty is, in comparison to the rest of the map.
Yeah. And when I bring them over to the map, I will set the scene here a little bit by changing the music, because your very first scene is going to be a scene that is set by a fire on a
Oh.
particular, not a bad fire, don't worry yet. On a particular night, much like any other that you have known, when you are still quite young, not like a child, but when you were still quite young, in Tibet specifically, there was a blizzard outside. The winds are roaring against the glass windows, but you and your family members are all inside. Specifically, your father, Gaius Blair, is like motioning over towards everyone to come towards the fireplace, and it's decently roaring. It's nice. The house is rather large and rather cold most points of the day, but of course, like, this is, to background a little bit here again, the year is 2095. You do have heat, as it were. You don't have to sit by next to the fire, but with hallways as large as the manor has, it does tend to be a little bit cold, especially on cold nights such as these. Especially because you can still remember the olden days as a wee child, when you have probably a few core memories when you actually remember Edinburgh. And it was much warmer there.
Yeah, when it was not snow, as far as not even the eye can think, but not even the eye can see, but the mind can think.
Yeah. And your father, Gaius, who is probably getting up there in age, probably 40 by now, who has starting to gray. He did have brown, like long brownish hair beforehand, very muscular, very like stern, no nonsense type of guy, is motioning over like the rest of his family. Like, he sees like your older brother and he's like, come on over here. Your mother comes with your younger sister, and all around, eventually the whole entire family, all four of you, four, did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, well, 5 of you, god, I can't count.
5, yeah.
Yes, all 5 of you are gathered around the fire, where it is warm, much warmer than anywhere else inside of the house. Together, your little sister snuggles up next to you, Maria. Your mother, Grace, sits down in a chair that is right next to Gaius, who is tossing logs one at a time into the fireplace. And your older brother, James, who is kind of a slight outcast at this young age, you don't really understand why yet, is sitting in a little bit of a corner, still in the same room, but he's at a desk reading a book. But you can kind of tell that his eyes aren't really following the book. Like, he keeps looking up towards Gaius whenever Gaius speaks. I'll put their tokens down right now.
Oh. I will take, like, I'll find like the nearest sort of like, blanket, or even maybe a coat, and like wrap it around myself and my sister.
Oh, and sorry, to the future audience, these tokens are going to be rather simplistic for art reasons. I do have art that is not copyright free that is going to be in the description in a Google Doc that will describe my idea about what these characters are actually supposed to look like. So if you go into the description and click that, then you'll be able to see like what I imagine Gaius to be. But for now, for all of the streams, we will just be using these simplified tokens.
I mean, hey, if you want you to let your imagination fill in what these characters look like,
that is
the tokens also
true.
help with that.
Yes, that is true. Yes. But Gaius like looks around, and he gets a little bit like a tiny amount of sad as he looks out the window towards the raging blizzard. But then he puts on perhaps like a half fake smile. Come on now, just because it's cold doesn't mean we have to be cold. Technology's for, after all, at least they keep telling me. And he takes another log and throws it into the fire, and he looks around and sighs a little bit. Did I ever tell you all exactly the story of the Blair family? You have, Father, many times. Would you like to hear it again, though? James was the one that intervened there a little bit. I mean...
yes, Father.
That's more the excitement that I was looking for, James. You should take after your little sister more. James, like, rolls his eyes a little bit and goes back to his book in the corner. I mean, after all, the Blair family has a history that goes back centuries at this point. Long ago, we were knights from the land of Scotland, specifically the land of Edinburgh, where the hilltops were filled with grass as far as the eye can see. Flowers and trees filled the land. It was a land of ancient magic and monsters, and we carved out our niche there. But before that, even, we were farmers. In that sacred land of Edinburgh, we were nothing more than tillers of the land. Unlike some noble families who were born into power, we snatched ours, and not the easy way either. But in this land of Edinburgh, one fateful night, a monster was creeping up on the farms. A giant black serpent, slithering around, eating sheep and killing livestock, setting fields aflame with its breath. Not even the knights of the time could face it down. And so when the knights had abandoned us, and some of the farmers had fled, who was it that stood up to the monster? Your younger sister Maria raises her hand. It was us. The very first Blair. Well, not the first, but the very first real Blair. Reginald Blair took his sword, and he slew that monster that day. The knights couldn't slash it with their puny weapons, because it was immaterial. A monster of fear itself. What we understood, what the Blairs have always understood about monsters, is that just the steel doesn't make it. Not a technique or anything else. When you're facing down fear, you gotta be brave. They feed on your fear. Don't let them eat. For a moment, all is calm. Oh, you want to say something? Sorry.
No, just somewhat reserved, or somewhat excited, right.
And Gaius does smile when you say that. He is very happy that, and Maria is also, as you probably assume that Maria and you are both enthralled. Grace has probably heard this story so many times, but she's still paying attention. James is the only one that's kind of left out, and James is actually the one that speaks up a little bit. You've told us this story many times, Father, but the thing that always gets me is that you have no proof that it actually happened. We live in a time now where magic is not just a thing of the past, where magic isn't just made up stories and wives' tales. Can you really look outside when I can do this? And he snaps his fingers and the flames in the fireplace roar to life a little bit more. And you can't say that the Blairs really didn't fight fear itself. Stare down despair as nothing more than a farmer and raise their sword for their people. That's why the Blair family means something. But the Blair name means something. And even though we were exiled due to mistakes, some of our forefathers, never forget that. That's what makes a Blair a Blair. We understand how to kill monsters. And we understand more than any of these fake knights nowadays, or the militaries, or anything else. Bravery is what's important. Especially on the darkest days.
It takes a hero, not an army, eh?
Exactly. What is an army to one man with a mission, a heart of gold? Nothing. All right, now off to bed now. And he,
one more story, please.
If you're gonna twist my arm, then Grace shoots him this look, and he shrugs, and he begins in on another tale of grand adventure about how some other Blair knight had struck down some other monster, a dragon with black scales, that wings that covered the skies, etc., etc. It's impossible to tell what actually may have happened, especially now with recent events with magic being real, when it was believed to have only been nothing but stories. Potentially some of these did happen, but it's got to be exaggerated at least a little bit, right?
Yeah, honestly, Liz just eats everything up. She just imagines the ancient glory of like the Blairs and the ancient magecraft because you know, it's like they are mages, you know, like from what she
Hmm.
knows, her family is like actual mages that like came from ancient times. So, you know, like even before everyone could do it, they could, you
Yep.
know. So she definitely likes this sort of like grand heroics.
And in general, to move over to not like a specific scene, but just your childhood and as a whole, it's rather good. Again, you probably have these old you weren't around a lot during the time that you were actually in Scotland. You did move. Your family did get exiled in your generation, or at least your family specifically moved in your generation because you were exiled. Were, you were stripped from your knighthood title a little bit before your time, a little bit before Gaius's time even, but you actually moved to Tibet during your lifehood, and so you still have again some core memories of Edinburgh. But like outside of the fact that like you might wish that it was a little bit warmer, it you're living in luxury. You are rich, right? Like you're not struggling every single day. It's a little cold outside most days, but like you're fine.
Yeah, like literally the one of the only like interactions I have with actual like village children is them being my servants, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Or like sometimes you see some of the either do your direct servants because again for I know we've talked about it before the audience, the Blair family, what they are doing here now after they were exiled from Scotland for reasons that is not talked about a lot, they're running a mine here in a small little next to a small little village in Tibet, one that is not on many maps at all, one that almost nobody has heard of. Ignore these tokens right now, called Musuzeme. And you do have a ruling class peasant kind of relationship ish, your family in general, to the people of the village. But like, not everyone works for you. Like, there are like sometimes like family members that like maybe bring their children when they're working at the mines, and like you see them, etc., etc. You might see a young Amir or a young Akar. But for the most part, your like actual interactions with them are probably just them being your servants. But you do probably
Yep.
have like at least you probably don't have like a ton of them, but you probably do have like a few people that were hired from the village that are paid decent wages to just like be house servants, etc.
Yep. Although, you know, it's I would say it's a nice existence, although always had a little itch to know why exactly we had to leave.
Do you ever go out of your way to bring it up or ask anyone?
I mean, probably a couple of times, yeah. Like,
Okay. Both of your parents are very avoidant with that issue. Gaius will probably answer you. We all make mistakes, including the Blairs on occasion. No one's perfect. No family line is without besmirches. But that's not important. What's important here is our work here now. We were once farmers, now we're overseeing mining. One day we will be knights again. That's all that matters. Face forward, Liz, not backwards.
we all make mistakes in the heat of passion, Lizzie.
Jesus. Yeah, and that's kind of that vague idea is kind of what
Yeah.
Gaius always tells you. He never gives you a straight answer. Grace is a very similar way. Something along the lines of well, a few generations ago we kind of we had some bad apples, that's all. But I should ask, okay. So
Yeah, what about James?
so to give a slight distinction, your
Yeah.
older brother James is kind of a black sheep of the family. To explain, most of your family, so Grace has long black hair. Maria and you both have long black hair. Gaius has like dark brownish hair that's starting to turn gray with age. James is blonde. Blonde with glasses, and Gaius probably does teach you sword training from like a pretty young age. And James is there and is awful at it. He is abysmal at it. When I said that he was reading a book, that's because he is very bookish. He tends to like to study or like read books or learn. And even like go inside of the village. Like he'll skip out on training sessions and Gaius gets pissed off at him a lot. He's terrible. In fact, you actually surpass your older brother really early on. You being quite talented with the blade from a young age.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I probably took like from a very like young age. It's like the idea of that like grew up with heroes tales, always wanted to be the Blair I had to be,
Yeah.
and I never actually thought of like usurping my brother. That was never in my mind, because he was like the first, and in my mind it was like, okay, cool, he's gonna take over. I'm just gonna be a good, solid member of the family, you
Mhm.
know. But I just kept training and kept going at it, and
Yeah, and
eventually just kind of
and notably,
interests.
James doesn't resent you at all. He like doesn't like or enjoy when he's at training, but like he doesn't seem to hate his father. As I mentioned, like when the stories were being
Mhm.
told, he pretended like he didn't care, but like he cared. He kept looking
I don't know.
over, etc., etc. But like he does have this like slightly adversarial thing with his father. He doesn't hate you at all. In fact, he like
Yeah,
often bemoans. He's like, Liz, one of these days you're going to have to teach me how to do that sword thing. I don't understand it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You swing left, but then you always the sun is in my eyes, and
oh,
like
oh yeah, it's like with the wrist. You swing left and then you break the wrist to the right, and like it does, you know.
yeah. So it doesn't seem like he's bothered by it at all, really.
Yeah.
About the fact that you're
Yeah,
better
also,
off. He's chill.
yeah, I would say I'm also like definitely admire like the fact that like anything I ask him, he can just fucking answer. It's insane
Yes.
to me. Like a little girl being like, "Hey James, what is this? What is that?" And he usually just has an answer. You
Yeah.
know. So I do enjoy his company.
Notably, though, you do know. So whether it's like a little bit of an adversarial relationship between Gaius and James, Grace does not like James, and you might be too young to understand
Oh.
why exactly right now. But for OOC knowledge, James is a bastard child. That's why he has blonde hair. He does not have the same
Mm.
mother as you and Maria. Um,
Speaking of hair, ours is kind of distinct because you said long black. They also have like small green accentation at points.
okay.
So it is somewhat unique.
Yeah,
One
yeah, yeah.
could tell when someone is,
Yeah. Yeah, and so like they don't even talk to each other that much.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. There's no like open like she's not beating him or anything like that. But you can tell for even from a very young age that James and Grace, they don't talk to each other much. When they pass each other in the halls, there were no words said. They just walk right past each other. And so I would ask, you said that like you're actually like you look up to him at a young age. So you would ask James about like, hey, what exactly happened
Yes.
to her? Okay, because that wasn't the question I was asking. Is like, would you are you the type of personality that would just like nerd and then just not ask the nerd or something like that? Yeah, but okay.
No, definitely not.
Okay. So you asked James about the family exile. Oh, this is all right. We're already getting into territory that I did not think we would get into.
Oh.
So James is in the library, kind of like feet up, kind of lazed around when you ask him this question. And when you do that, his chair, he leans back in his chair a little bit too far, and it goes smash. Like he was completely caught off guard so much that his chair goes falling around. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
James, are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. I just, oh, hmm. Have you ever asked Father this question before? He says he's like dusting himself off and getting up.
Well, yeah, of course. He just, I mean, I would never disobey father, but uh, uh yes, he's clearly lost some words because he's like very clearly disobeying him right now. But like,
Yes, I see. What is the best way to describe that situation? What do you know of Abyssal? Have you ever studied it before?
abyssal. So out of character,
You would not know it
would
by
I
this point,
know?
probably.
Okay, no idea.
I see. And James, as I mentioned, he's in the you are in the library at this point in time. He walks over towards one of the bookshelves, studies it for a little bit, trying to find something, and goes, aha. And reaches down to the very bottom shelf towards an old dusty book that looks like it's been there forgotten. He wipes it off a few times and starts scrolling through and puts it onto the table. The language by things that are better off left alone. A language that one of our forefathers was studying. I don't know how much of the stories are true. Father would not tell me much either, but I was around in Edinburgh for longer than you were, so I saw how the people treated us then. One of our forefathers was dabbling into forbidden magic. It has something to do with Abyssal. I believe, and this is just a theory, that he made a contract with something. A contract with something that rather nasty.
What, do you mean he was bad?
Yes. To put it plainly and simply, great-great-grandpa made a contract with a very bad man. When that became public, we were stripped of our titles. Of course, the title was only honorary at that point anyway. Not like knights mattered in an age of private militaries.
Oh, so that was around that was around 2020, 20 something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Around when the gates vaguely started opening, I think. Again, Father would really know more. He was the one that had to go through it as a kid, but I don't know.
I don't understand. Why wouldn't they tell me?
Perhaps because they know exactly what he made a contract with. They've burned or hidden most of the books that were related to the incident, but this is one of the few that remain. And James, like you see, he's like reading into the book, and he flips a few of the pages. And like I can piece together exactly what happened.
Well, I mean, it is. All right, it is simple then. If it's a bad man and it's a bad man, I'll just have to become strong enough to beat the bad man if he ever comes, and it's gonna be good, right? Like Father used to say.
Yes, quite. That is the Blair family technique, after all. If a bad man shows up, beat them to death. Sorry, that came off as rude. I agree with you in general. I don't think that he's going to be coming after our family or anything like that. It seemed like a rather self-contained incident, from what I could tell.
Well, thank you.
No problem. And don't tell Father that I told you this.
Gan does the motion like zip, like with the lips.
Run along now. I believe Mia's probably looking for you.
Kind of nod and like go to run off, but I kind of like stop for a bit and turn back. I was serious though. I will restore our family name.
James pauses. Like he has to he thinks about it for a second, and then gives like a gentle smile. Sure you will.
Kind of like gives a beaming smile back and nods and just runs off.
All right. Okay. Fascinating. You actually liked James. That was not what I expected. Okay. This changes a few things. This changes a few of my plans. I'm excited. And so in fact, this could be, so James, over the course of, I don't know, the next few months, I would say, or like for a while, I should say, seeing that you are receptive to learning in general, starts to teach you to read and write maybe on his own time, not just in common, but like in maybe like a little bit of Elvish, or as we were talking about. And so he's a little bit hesitant, but maybe a little bit of abyssal here and there.
Ooh, maybe that's how I start.
Yeah.
No, I am super receptive. Like for me, I don't think any knowledge is bad, especially if I am to become like this sort of great hero that I am, like, envisioning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even things that people think are bad is like the more you know about them, the more you can fight them, or even find out they're not bad.
Yeah.
I have this very like childlike, wonder like mentality.
Ooh, okay. Childlike wonder. All right. Oh boy. So, at one point, James is teaching you, and again, you have to, especially when he's teaching you Abyssal, it is a rather like secretive meeting. You probably like go to like one of the corners of the manor where he begins teaching you, etc., etc. Ooh, roll me a perception. The first roll of the haha. Use your sheet, fucker.
First roll. Oh, here's my sheet. Okay, so for perception, let's see. Do I just press this?
Yes,
There we go.
That it is. Okay, so James is in the middle of teaching you about some of the abyssal, like, I don't know, fucking consonants and vowels and stuff. And out of the corner of your eye, you see what appears to be a small figure looking at you for a moment and then runs away. But I don't know, maybe it was just a trick of the wind. Maybe one of the servants. Like, you can't really make out who they were because it was like down the hallway and it's like darker.
James, did you see that?
What? What are you talking about? Oh.
It's like it was probably nothing.
All right. Anyway, where was I? And so for a while,
On the you.
Fucking abyssal. And so for a while, nothing happens, but then both of you hear click, click, click of someone walking down the hallways.
Just kind of like straighten up, like, hide the books real quick. We probably have like a shared hiding place that we have already discussed.
Yeah. Grace walks down the hallway, followed by the tiny figure of your little sister Maria. And I should mention, Maria is very close to Grace. She sticks to Grace a lot. And you probably guessed that Maria is the one that told that you guys were reading out here in the middle of the night. And Grace walks up, and immediately, and James is like, "Stop! Hello there. I should have. We're out here for a cup of tea." And smack, right across the face, his glasses go scattering across the ground as your mother has rebuked James.
Just kind of like eyes wide and kind of straighten up, despite all the stories and the training and this stuff, it's probably the first time I'm seeing like someone get full on fucking slapped like that.
Yeah. You teach her these foul words. You hide these books away from us. I only wanted to learn. Learn the things and the secrets that got us exiled in the first place. There is nothing to learn from these books. Where are they? Give them to me. James resists for like a moment before he exhales deeply and reaches into, like, again, the hiding spot that you guys have. He walks over to it. Pulls out the books that he had been teaching you Abyssal with and slowly hands them over to Grace, and she snatches them away from him. I did not expect better from you, one. But you, Elizabeth? You let him teach you these foul words?
Mother, if this is what got us exiled, maybe somewhere in there is the way to get us back as well.
How much have you told her, James? I've only...
I just realized, like, that I just fucking, like, accidentally fucking snitched.
Enough. Fine. We will burn these books, and there will be no more Abyssal in this household. Are we understood? James slowly nods.
Yes, Mother.
It is forbidden for a reason. The forbidden tongue is not one meant to be spoken, but forgotten. But go to your beds. James, with his bruised cheek, slowly walks over and picks up his glasses before nodding to you and giving you like a sad look before walking down the halls. And Grace, Grace begins collecting the books from the.
Yeah, I also kind of look at him with like somewhat like regretful, as in like I feel a bit guilty,
Yeah. And in general, you can tell Grace kind of for a while watches you to make sure that you're not doing any in her view cringe shit. If you know what I mean. Making sure that you're not going to go back and immediately try to learn Abyssal. And she by the way does with the house servants, she does a full sweep of the house to make sure that there are no more of those books. Like just checking every nook and cranny. There is no more Abyssal to be spoken of in this household. It got us exiled in the first place.
At that point, how much magecraft would I know?
Like a little bit, probably been experimenting with it a little bit, because again, you were already learning swordcraft at this point, so yeah.
Yeah, so probably not enough to like actually hide any of them. So I'm not even gonna try.
Yeah, it's a little rough. Cool. And your father Gaius slowly walks over to you with his arms behind his back. After all is said and done, after all of the books have been removed, etc., because he wasn't even there, he wasn't aware of this was happening.
Yeah, he
knew. And he looks down at you with it again, hiding something in his hands behind his back before he slowly reveals it. As he's giving you a little like piece of cake on a plate.
Just kind of like, I look at him, I look at the cake, I look at him. It's like I just kind of like run up and hug him.
Oh, come on now, lass. It is, it's not your birthday, it's not my birthday, no one's birthday today, no holiday today. So I decided, as the leader of Blair Manor, that today should be Cake Day, and we shall all forget the bad things that have happened in our past, eh? Cake Day.
Kind of like give a small nod.
It will be our special holiday.
Did I disappoint you, father?
No. I find it incredibly hard for any of my children to truly disappoint me. Grace is touchy on the subject of the forbidden language. You must forgive her. She does love you the same way that I do.
Oh, I could never hold a grudge against mother, but did she have to hit James?
It is complicated between her and James. Maybe one day when you are older, you will understand.
Kind of like look down, look at him, and kind of nod.
Ruth, the fault of her distaste for him lies with me. And he like gives a long stare out towards nothingness for a moment before handing over the cake to you. Because he was the one that was
weird, complicated adult stuff aside, I'm a kid. This is cake.
Exactly. Have the cake. Here, kid, have some cake. Don't think about it.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right. So with that out of the way, James kind of becomes even more reclusive. He and so time skipping a little bit more here. James eventually kind of like completely stops coming to the training. Like he just kind of gives up. And is almost like a recluse, kind of like staying inside of his room for the most part. Just kind of doing whatever he wants to, just like researching books, etc. Like he is not having a great time. Especially, and Gaius kind of just like, but before Gaius was trying a lot to like rope him into it, like, come on, just give it another try. After that, he's like, you can read books in the library. It's okay. It's okay. You do what you want to do. I prefer it if you were here, but that's okay. I get it. And they start to grow apart a little bit. just because they don't see each other that much. No one really sees James that much. He's inside of his room a lot. Still friendly with you. He doesn't like blame you for anything, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to like, check up from time to time, but it's difficult to impose. Like if someone doesn't want to be around people, eventually it starts, becomes harder and harder for you to like always do the initiative. So I feel like even me being a kid and all, I will eventually also kind of slow down. But at least tries.
Yep. And so time passes a little bit here again. And Gaius, seeing that James is a little bit uninterested, he is still the heir to the family, for now. And for a while,
it's like, I wonder. I have one kid that barely speaks to me, like that's books, and I have this other kid that eats up every word I say. Is almost always obedient, and like is excellent as an excellent swordman.
So Gaius starts to really take you specifically onto like. So, for example, Gaius is a rather hands-on person. He is a quote-unquote leader. Like, he is the person that's giving money to finance the mines specifically. But he starts to get you more involved in the overseeing of the mines and takes you like to work to show you exactly what he does on a day-to-day basis. Especially as you start getting older, right? Like how to treat the villagers, how to break a deal or broker a negotiation over like prices, etc. And even what I said, Gaius is hands-on, where like he is not the type of guy to sit back and let others do all the shit. Like he's in there in the mines sometimes. Whenever there's like a problem, he gets in there, he solves it, right? Like there's a fight between people, he'll get in there and he'll solve it. If there's like a boulder that needs moving, he'll just fucking move it. And he is, by the way, physically very strong. Like he can just go in there, yeah, like he's a buff man.
Probably where I got it from.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're both. You really did take out,
we're both really fucking.
Yeah, both very strong with strength.
For context, Liz has like 20 strength. I don't know how much strong she would be there, but imagine 20 strength for however old she was then, like 12.
And in case you're curious, Gaius has 24. Gaius is strong, physically. And yeah, so again, he's a very hands-on ruler. He gets in there and he is in the mud, in the muck a lot of the time. And he is now taking you along that and teaching you how to do all of that, etc., etc.
Yep.
And in fact,
definitely eating all of it up, always like there, always attentive. Only I think hiccup is that she definitely doesn't have a bit of like that initiative to command people, She always like defers to Gaius when she needs to like give orders or be a leader, in that sort of sense.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So one day when you're like quote unquote at work, which is basically you basically are at work at this point because he's again taking you to all these, so like Gaius is like checking up on like what like the states of the mines, etc., making sure. Oh, and for backup, not only are they mining like iron ore and just like ores in general, but specifically for whatever reason, and they at this point don't know the reason why, there is magic inside of this cave, inside of, as the villagers always called it, Naraka. And the deeper you go, especially the deeper you go down, there are these crystals that form that have pure mana inside of them. And to make a long story short, the world is going through a mana resource crisis at the moment. So making pretty decent money by mining out pure mana crystals from some nameless village in Tibet.
Essentially, it's like we basically have like the world's biggest fucking gold mine that only we know about. I imagine pretty big excitement.
Exactly. Notably though, especially just a couple of things. One, as you get to know the mine and you get to know, and just as a side note, I should give you I'll put a pin in that. Give me a second. You get to know like the ins and outs, like exactly what tunnels go where, what tunnels are stable, what tunnels people should stay away from. And specifically though, as Gaius takes you deeper into the mine on one specific day, that there is rather deep down a giant magical barrier. And to describe kind of what this looks like is that there's like a white sheet or a light bluish sheet that almost looks like frozen ice, like a sheet of frozen ice that goes across the whole entire hallway of the cave. And then on that, there is glowing red magical symbols that you can make no sense of at all. This is as far as we go, by the way, Liz. Don't know what's on the other side of that. Don't want to know.
Kind of like, if it's, is it like semi-transparent?
A little bit, yeah.
I can kind of look, but there's like so many crystals behind that, Father.
There are, and I was going, yeah. In case, yes, as you look through, there are tons of crystals. It is a, if you have a gold mine, the crystals are kind of hard to come by a little bit. Like, you kind of have to dig for them a little bit. They're not like literally falling out of everywhere inside of the cave. But as you look deeper down in there, especially from what you could tell, like this glittering at the very end of the hall of the cave, there is a lot of crystals as you go down. And it's common knowledge between the family, by the way, that the deeper down you go, the more crystals you'll find. So it is strange that he's wanting to stop here. Aye, there are. Lots of crystals down there, but the deeper we send people, and you're old enough now that I should probably warn you about something. The deeper people tend to go inside these caves for long periods of time, they end up getting sick. Not normal illnesses, we don't exactly know what it is. And I had the mage from the village come down. It was Lucille, I think her name was. She said that this was a barrier. A very, very old barrier. A barrier is usually put up to seal something in. If whatever is causing these people to get sick, our people already to get sick up here, is even worse down there. It's a very bad idea to go knocking down doors.
Well, if something was living down there, it should have started by now, right? Nothing edible grows down here.
I don't exactly think it's a person or a monster. That I could understand. It's more of a miasma. Again, our people have been getting sick from every now and again, and from the stories that I heard from a storyteller in the village, they call this place Naraka, or one of the realms of hell, because if we spend too much time in here, you don't make it out alive.
Oh.
But that doesn't mean that we can't keep our operations running. We're making a decent lot of money here and there.
Right, and these crystals, they're magic, right? If we get enough, our family could be as strong as it was before, even stronger, right?
Aye, not only strong, but perhaps with everything that we're doing here, eventually, might be able to get back our knighthood a couple of different ways. A great negative can be outweighed by a great positive. But
Kinda like
always keep a level head, alright? I won't say never, because I understand circumstances could be dire that I don't understand yet, but think carefully, very, very carefully before you open up this barrier, right? Even after I'm gone, if we're still here for whatever reason. And he's kind of speaking to you, by the way, like you would be the head of the family at this point. Like that's a little bit of a weird thing. Like oh, I would have control of the lions.
Yeah, it's like kind of slowly nods, and it's like, I'll make sure to tell James that. Still thinking she would be like an advisor to James, you know?
Yeah. Gaius just gets like a little bit sad when you say that. But then he sighs and changes the subject a little bit. I brought you down here because I wanted to talk to you about something. Normal people wouldn't hear us, and like off in the distance you can hear like the we all lift as like the miners are sitting there, you know, mining the rocks and the ores and the crystals, etc. You can hear like the slamming of pickaxe into rock, but they're like rather distant because as Gaius has said, Gaius has instructed them to either not come down here at all, or if they do come down to even around the barrier at all, to not be down here for more than 1 hour at a time. Like this is a kind of pseudo off limits zone, is next to the barrier. I see that you're well, for one, you're great at sword play. Chip off the old block. You're getting better at magic, even. But I see you a little bit skittish when it comes to leadership.
Well, that's supposed to be James's field. I don't wanna get too good at that. Don't wanna make him sad.
Gaius stares off at the barrier for a moment before he looks back at you. All right, but let's say that you're an advisor to James, and James asks your opinion on what he should do in a certain situation. Probably be good to get a feel for it, you know? I mean, if James is making the big decisions, then you should still understand the how to boss people around. I know that still sounds bad, but at the end of the day, it is what we do. Instruct people, organize people, understand how to put the best people in the best places.
Kind of like nods a bit, like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Aye. And hopefully I can get James to come around to the idea as well. I do think that he would be a great leader if he put his mind to it. It's just he's closed himself off a little bit.
Oh yeah, I haven't checked on him this week.
He'll come around. The Blairs always come around at the end of the day,
Aye.
Yeah, and he nods and he walks off. Roll me another perception. Another one. Perception.
What's
The
a
most
perception?
useful skill.
The most useful skill, which is the reason why Pathfinder 2 made a save.
Yep. Okay. Out of the corner of your eye, and Gaius is walking. Your father is walking off still. He doesn't notice it at all. You notice a rune. A rune that gives you a flashback to a while ago, a long time ago at this point now, because again, time skips, where James used to teach you the Abyssal language. It is a rune of Abyssal that is laying down, broken off a little bit, right next to the barrier. Looks like it got chipped out of the wall.
On this side of the barrier?
Yes,
or
on
the
this
other?
side of the barrier. You can touch it and pick it up if you wish. Doesn't look like it, and if you feel there's no... Actually, roll me an arcane, if you wish.
I do wish.
I do wish.
Arcana?
Arcana, yes, sorry. Did I say arcane? Yeah. Arcane, the hit Netflix show.
Yeah,
Oh,
Arcane,
yeah.
the hit Netflix series.
You can tell there is
nice.
like a very, very, very faint residue of magic that is floating off of this specific like little rune that looks like it does look like the rune was carved into the wall, and then that part of the wall fell off a little bit. But like it's not active. And it doesn't look like there's much mana left in it at all either way.
Well, I mean, it's already broken off. And Liz wants to be fearless. You know, it's like even when her father was saying about the wall, right? She doesn't like it when it feels like things are out there that she cannot, eventually learn how to like not control exactly. But like it's like, oh, this is scaring my father and nothing is scaring my father,
Yeah.
So this could be trouble to the people I care about, and it doesn't matter what it is or who it is. I will try to become greater than anything that could hurt my family,
Okay.
And I don't think she's thinking that consciously, but like she will lean down and pick it up, more like childlike curiosity, But also the subtle like refusal to like, shy away from it.
As you do, you pick it up. You can probably recognize the letter it's supposed to be in the abyssal. We'll go with or whatever, etc. etc. You rolled really high on Arcana.
Yes.
if you look around, you can probably tell, like you see that, you look down at where it fell off inside of like one of the actual cave wall itself, and if you look around, all around you, you can tell carved a little bit here and a little bit here. It's very faded. Some of it's broken, some of it's cracked. There are these runes of abyssal that are carved into the cave itself all around you that have just gone unnoticed.
So this sort of childish bravado that she had, yeah, all fucking gone. Can I see exactly where it fell off from?
Yes, it's like right next to the barrier. It looks like the little small little area. Like if you like shouldn't off an angle it a little bit, you can put the piece of the cave piece right back into where it was.
I'll try to put it back in.
Okay. No, you put it back in, and it like for a while you're like jiggling with it for a little bit, and then it clicks as rock meets rock, and it snaps right, not snaps back into place, but like it fits there. And then you swear you hear almost as if a silent voice on the wind. Maybe it is just the wind, although you're pretty deep down in a cave for it to be the wind. All that you hear is a very faint voice that you think you hear coming from the other side of the barrier. All it says is, "Hello." That is all. Sounds so small, so innocent. But who the fuck could be down there?
Yeah? Look at the barrier. Do I see anyone?
You see nothing. You see no one.
Kind of like, almost for a moment, I go to say hi. I kind of like look at it and I'm like, I haven't heard that, right? And I just walk away.
The voice does not speak. The voice on the wind is silent as and lets you walk away. Oh, all right.
Oh boy.
Side note, as she gets older, yeah, that's fine. Do you mention that to anyone?
No.
Okay. Just as a side note, your younger sister Maria actually starts to get older. One, she tends to mimic you in a lot of ways. She tends to like she is like out there, a miniature you, and yeah, she's out there trading, unlike James. And so on one hand, she's very close to you, but on the other hand, she, as I said, really loves her mother. She does not tend to like James. And on certain occasions, badmouths James to you. Do you do anything about that? It doesn't get to like the bad. I guess she's just like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Like, do you just let her do that and ignore it, or?
I mean, I won't push against it too hard because I love my sister, right? I haven't seen James in God knows how long, right? At this point.
Yeah.
So I won't like be like, no, don't say that about James. So I'll be more like, well, he has his nice side, like try to like somewhat gently, like, because I also understand that I don't want her to like, because I imagine at that point I'm like, what, 14 or something?
Probably,
at that point. Because at the start of the campaign I'm like 18, so
Yeah.
So by that point I understand a little bit more, right? So I don't want her to feel torn between her siblings,
Yeah. It's a little
so
rough.
I don't. Yeah.
All right. So next scene, you finally see James. He seems to be in a little bit of a hurry. As he's walking outside, as you're walking in, probably from training or like probably at the mines with your father.
Yeah.
And he's
gonna like wipe a bit of sweat and he's like, "Oh, James!"
Yeah, he is also surprised to see you as he bumps into you. And spreads some papers and
like bumps into me, I don't move at all.
Yeah.
Just-
You do not move at all as he trips over. He doesn't like fully fall down, but he does feel what he was holding. Specifically, as you go to pick them up, he has papers and even a book, apparently a handwritten book, that is in abyssal. And he looks up at you with terror in his eyes. Oh,
kind of look back at him with the same.
Elizabeth?
James?
You just came in from training?
I.
Hand me that paper, please. Over there.
Kind of like hand him over. But like as I go, I kind of stop. And I'm like, James, I need to talk to you about something.
I know this looks bad, alright? I'm not going to make a contract with a demon.
Well, hopefully not, but not that. Not that. It's something maybe only you can help with.
He gets like a glint in his eye as like he realizes that you're not going to fucking rat him out. Oh.
Yeah.
Alright.
She definitely has that little like gremlin in her that
Yeah.
James also has like a little bit of that of like, well, I need to know, but for her it's like I need to know it so I can conquer it, right?
Yeah. Alright. Lead the way.
Kind of nod, and I will try to lead him to like maybe the stables or like a more secluded part of the house.
Yeah, alright.
James, you said whatever contract was made, it was back at home, right?
Yes.
I saw Abyssal, James. In the mines.
Abyssal in the mines. But that's preposterous.
Aye, all over the walls. There's a seal down there, and I don't know what. Father said they're keeping something in, but they don't know. There's also like runes in the walls, and one of them fell off. I don't know what it might mean. Is the seal weakening? Why is it abyssal?
All right. Slow down. I've been to the seal once when I was around your age, but there's abyssal in the walls down by the.
Aye, there's abyssal in the walls.
Why? It doesn't. Can you show me?
I don't. Father said we shouldn't go down there.
We can't tell father of this. We definitely can't tell mother.
I don't know what would happen.
If
perhaps we should tell them. If it might be dangerous.
What's more dangerous is them freaking out and then blowing up the mine or shutting it down or moving. I know that we can't afford to move. We've made too many promises to too many people.
But all the people we employ, what if something is already going wrong down there?
Let me take care of it. Just show me where it is.
Right. You'll be the next head of the family. You should know this.
He winces a bit, but then nods. And after that, he like pauses for a moment. And yeah, yes, and he like gets a little bit confident, and I'm like, yeah, he follows you.
All right. Yeah, I'll take him down there.
Ooh, all right.
I'll take the possibly fucking rapidly abyssal obsessed individual to see the hidden abyssal next to the seal. Oh boy, being a child sure lets you make the best decisions.
Oh, dear Lord. How did I miss these when I first came here? There were so many.
I can recognize some. This is like ni and u and ha, but I don't know what they mean.
Neither do I. But this many. This is. And he touches the wall. So when I said it was a very faint magic, it was weird that there was magic in the runes all over the cave walls at all. And James senses that residential magic. This This was a conduit of some sort. This was a ritual site. A ritual site using Abyssal? Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. This...
What should we do? Should we tell our parents? Should we?
No.
Should we close on the?
We cannot.
No?
They will freak out. They hate Abyssal. They hate anything to do with it, even though it is just a language. You don't understand. Their whole entire family was ruined by it. They went through hell in Edinburgh for it. It is bad,
Well,
but it is just we need to find someone else. I will find someone else. Maybe someone in the village, or no. These are ancient. These caves are the monastery. They've been around forever. Certainly they know.
But James, we don't go to the monastery.
I understand. But I must go anyway.
Are you sure you have to do this? We might still be able to back out.
We can't just leave it here. Now that we've found it, we need to do something about it. We need to, at the very least, understand with what we're dealing with. It's too dangerous.
We have to conquer it, I guess.
Yes. I'm afraid that this is something that Father would not be able to conquer. Because there is one thing that he fears. This. It's up to us to save the family.
Save the family. Hi.
All right. Do you go with James towards the monastery, or do you allow him to go by himself?
Do I feel like I could get away with it without like my parents noticing?
Oh no, how good's your stealth?
Ugh. Oh. Let me check. Stealth. -3.
Okay, gotcha.
How do you even manage something to eat?
All right, you are staying at the house. I gotcha.
I am staying at the house.
Okay. Ooh. So
yeah, James, they wouldn't even know that if he's fucking gone. Like he's already in his room all the time.
Yes, correct. That is yeah. So, that happens. You assuming that you know that he is gone one night, but when you meet him next. At like breakfast or something, he so like James very rarely actually comes to breakfast, and he sits down next to you, and like the other family members give him like a few weird looks, but then as he motions over to you, he slips a note underneath your plate, and then he takes like a few apples or something and leaves.
Fair enough. I know I'm not the most discreet person, so I won't try to look at it right then and there. I'm just gonna eat.
All right.
And once everyone is already gone, then I'm gonna,
Yeah. The letter just says, "Meet me at the barrier. I got us help."
Naive, hopeful optimism.
All right.
That's what's coursing through her fucking mind right now. She's like, oh my god, he found us help. We're gonna solve this.
So you go back down to the deepest parts of the mine that you are allowed to?
I do.
There is a man waiting down there. James is like pacing a little bit nervously, walking back and forth in the hallway. There is a man in there sitting down in a meditative stance, waiting for you with his back almost right up against the barrier. He is in traditional monk garb, fully black specifically, traditional monk garb. He doesn't. The only thing that's weird about him in terms of like a Buddhist monk is that his head is not shaved. He is a black man in mid-30s, I would say, with mostly like a clean cut white hair. It is very odd that he does have white. Maybe it's just dyed, but it doesn't appear to be the type of man that is that would dye his hair because he appears to be very serious.
Oh, okay.
And you do know this man because you've probably seen him at least once. This is not just someone. This is the leader of the monastery, the head monk, Daigo.
Oh.
It still doesn't explain why you did not inform your parents. You were not the head of the household yet. I know, it's a long story, but my parents would freak out and burn everything that they've worked for to the ground if they found out that there were abyssal runes. There's a bit of a history between us and abyssal. Heard about that? That's the business. Yes, of course. Now, what is this? You said you've heard of it before? Daigo touches his hand to the ground, running his fingers across the runes. Yes. Yeah, I know what this is. I'd hoped for a very long time that you would just know me. This barrier is something that my ancestors put. There's a curse still but tell me, James and Miss...
Elizabeth.
Do either of you really even know what you're mining? Why mana seems low inside of this cave? I have several theories.
Time for leyline lore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a ley line, ain't it? You know, a place where magic flows through the world.
It is. The ley line became tainted due to a mistake our ancestors made. There's a black pus that soobs out from the center of the ley line. There are several barriers between us and the ley line. Why the mana crystallizes as it, even while corrupted, is a source of intense magic. One of the most powerful in the world.
Can it talk?
The ley line.
Aye.
Ley lines don't talk.
All right.
Do you mention anything? Because curses might talk.
Hmm.
Do you leave that there, or do you?
Do curses talk?
Daigo narrows his eyes at you a little bit. What makes you think they would?
Well, I took one of the pieces there that had broken off and put it back in the wall, and well, I think the wind said hello to me.
Daigo pauses for a very long time. He closes his eyes, still in the meditative position, before slightly opening them again. No, curses don't talk. If you want my advice, I can do a bit of a sermon. A few of the other monks here. Make sure the barrier is strengthened, but that's it.
Kind of like looks at James. If you do that, I imagine our parents would, well, at least catch a whiff of it.
I'm very stealthy, Daigo says. And you can't tell if it's a joke, because this man is dead serious all the time.
Yeah. I suppose it's better than nothing, ain't it? We can't afford to close the mines. I think I agree with James. Our family was already in the precipice of ruin, and I don't want them to slide even further down that slope.
Wait, Daigo, wait. This curse. What exactly is the nature of it? You see, I study curses. I study a decent amount of them. Maybe we don't think about it. I understand you're a bright young kid, but this curse has been around since before your great-great-great-grandfather even walked this earth. This curse is ancient. It's not to be trifled with.
Well, if we can't understand it, can we slay it?
No. There's a reason why we sealed it. That will be enough. I'm going to go get my tools and people that I need for that. We'll be in and out before any of you notice. And Daigo just like stands up, like him deciding that the conversation is over. And he, a little bit of a weird thing, he silently walks out. Like his footsteps barely make any
Holy
noise
shit.
as he just like walks away. And James has his hand up against his chin as he's thinking, and he's pacing around the hallway as Daigo disappears upwards as he's leaving the mine.
And I can imagine, like, I little more tightly grip my training sword. It's essentially the old man that knows what's up, telling the kids not to do it,
Yes,
and the two kids in their own ways being like, I can do it! I can fucking do it!
Alright, this was productive. Elizabeth,
Right,
what I'm going to say might sound insane.
Huh?
I believe we should break down the barrier.
You're right.
Yeah.
It does sound insane.
Before we were dealing with it, we didn't know what it was, whether it was a monster or a god or whatever, but it's just a curse. It's what's making people ill. If we can get in there and cure it, we would do more than save the family. This place has been torturous for the people since we were even here.
But, okay, James, I want to get rid of that thing as much as you do, but we have no guarantee. If Mr. Daigo says we can't, maybe we should just prepare just in case anything happens. We don't need to invoke it. I will train and you will think and we'll do what we do best. And if it does break out, we'll deal with it. But why break it out ourselves?
Because You've been following Father to the mines now, right? For some time?
I have.
We can't stay here forever in our current state. When Father first found this place, it was brimming with crystals. And it takes a long time for a ley line to crystallize mana into the form that we can sell. We will eventually run out. Unless we go deeper. The people have been suffering and been ill. I mean, we've mitigated it as much as possible, but we could cure that disease. We break this barrier and we...
James, I don't doubt you're smart enough to figure something out, but I'm not saying Father knows more about Abyssal than me, at least, and he doesn't seem to want us to do anything with it.
Perhaps you're right. I know what I said before. What if we get Father in on the idea?
Well, if Father thinks it would be a good idea and we have his support. I mean, he's really strong and really mighty. If I can slay it, he sure can.
We can't mention the Abyssal, but if we tell him that the monastery told us that it is a curse down there, then maybe... I'll think on it. We won't do anything yet. I'll catch up with Daigo and I'll tell him to just pause for now.
Well, no, we can let this sermon go through, I think. What would that change?
All right. I'll trust your more calm instincts. I'll come up with a presentation almost for Father, and we'll take it from there.
Thank you, James. I'll be there to support you when you do it.
All right. Oh.
Oh boy. Dumb, stupid, optimistic kids.
So the sermon goes that you don't have to be there to watch or anything like that. As he said, that goes in and out. Literally, no one notices. Might be a security risk if he could do that.
Jesus
But,
Christ.
also, he is just kind of like a little creepy. Like his footsteps don't make noise, and he has this like eerie stillness to all of his movements, etc. Probably, as I mentioned, you probably saw him as a kid once, and it was like just like viscerally on like a visceral natural level felt no good to you, you know.
He almost moves
yeah,
wrong.
Yeah, he almost moves wrong. He's nice though, like he doesn't like he's just a little creepy. You know what I mean.
Fair. In Liz's mind, it's like if someone like that is telling us to leave it alone, maybe he knows something. That's why she's not going full Hogan. Like, the great Scottish hero is gonna go down there and kill whatever the fuck is.
Maybe the leader of the Buddhist monastery knows that we probably shouldn't. And it did kind of seem like he knew what was going on. Again, he knew that it was a curse. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he wasn't telling you everything. But I mean, you could track down Daigo on your own time if you want to talk to him.
Yeah, we'll see.
Beyond that, so after the sermon, James for a while is even more locked up into his room because he's trying to think. And then like he'll talk to you a couple of times. Like he is more like specifically he comes out of the room to talk to you. Where like he was like, maybe we should do this or do that. Talking about like even like ways he could even cure the curse, like what curse it is, and it's so sad, but he gets more involved in going to the mines. Which makes Gaius so happy. Gaius is like, oh, you're finally here. But then he slips away a lot of the time, and he is studying those runes, trying to figure out what they mean, so that if he can find what curse it is, so that he can purify it.
Yeah, I can imagine we have like a little like secret fucking treehouse almost meetings where he's telling me, "Oh, I studied this," and then I'm like, "Oh, I trained with this, and I learned that magic," and we're both like in our own worlds thinking of how we're gonna solve this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the planning, it takes like a while. Because James is again, he's studying the runes. He's trying to figure out exactly what it was there for. Because you can't just go in with like holy magic and go purification. Like you kind of with curses, a lot of the time they can be very specific. And so you gotta kind of be like a very specific type of magic or et cetera, or like that's what James explains to you, that like curses can be rather complex. So it is a bad idea to just take a sledgehammer to the barrier. He wants to study exactly what it is. However, he eventually comes up with a plan, and he presents it to Gaius. I assume that you were also there, right?
Yes, I'm also there.
Okay. So James explains exactly what he thinks the curse is. He thinks that it is an old occultist curse, specifically something to do with Daigo and the monastery. He uses terms that you sometimes don't really understand, like specific with curses. He's talking about specific spells that could be cast, etc., etc. Notably, he does not mention the abyssal at all. Do you speak up and tell them about the abyssal runes or not?
How sold does father look on the idea?
He seems neutral, listening the entire time.
Then I won't for now. I don't want to sway his judgment.
Okay.
Perhaps later if he says something and I'm like, okay, you know, maybe this will help you make a decision, you know?
And James is, again, he's rather excited about the whole entire thing. Like, he spent, like, quite a long time thinking about this, and he thinks that by breaking on the barrier and curing the curse, he can, like, solve so many of their issues, right? They would have so much more money from all of the crystals that are deeper inside of the, inside of the mines. They would finally fix the illness that has been, by the way, just as a side note, has been slowly kind of getting worse. Not, like, a big thing, right? But, like, a couple more people are starting to get sick here and there. Again, it's just like it's not a permanent thing either. It's just kind of like they get a little sick, they have to take a couple of days off, come back in, and you know that as Gaia said, that like it's a little specifically around the barrier and the deeper that they're going, which is inevitable because they're going down to dig for more crystals, right? And you can tell that this is one of the first times that you've seen James so excited and so happy about something. And your father, though, is just very patient and very slowly, seemingly, facially turning against the idea. I think I've heard enough. I understand. And exactly, it's a bit of a shock, to be honest, to hear that there has been this conspiracy or curse that's been underneath the land that we've been mining for quite some time. As the leader, I must say, I am, on one hand, impressed that you two have managed to do this. The future looks bright for the Blair family, but a little bit sad that I didn't pick up on it myself. But no, we'll be leaving the barrier alone, James. But why? It would fix all of the issues if that's the word, James. If you manage to break the curse. If you can break the curse. You said you spoke to the head monk about this. This is a curse that is apparently so powerful that not even he or the whole entire monastery could do anything about. So they had to seal it away. The monastery uses old tactics. They don't understand modern magic or even modern scientific theory. I could do it. Maybe if we contact others about. No. We seek outside help. How do you know the secrets of our minds don't get out in the first place? We've always been very clear on that. We can't seek outside help from foreign nations or other countries or organizations or anything. This is a Blair family problem. The only one who know about the mines are the Blairs, the monastery, and the village. That's the way it's always going to be. We'll wither away like this, Father. We cannot last like this forever. That's for me to figure out. And if you can't, and if you stick to your word that I am going to be the heir, and if you can't figure it out, and you leave me with nothing to salvage, then what? What am I expected to do? I read the books. We are on the downturn already, and it's only going to get worse.
Liz is very like she's slowly getting more and more like saddened by this interaction. Yeah. That's why she's like so quiet. Mm-hmm. You know? Like this seems like it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of thing. And also like, you know, her brother who, you know, she really loves and her father who she really loves are now, you know, slowly getting a bit more vitriolic, and she doesn't know what to say that could potentially fix it. And the fucking abyssal runes will definitely not fucking fix it.
James, I understand. Especially I understand now that you want what is best for this family. And that warms my heart more than you could ever know. I do love you. I do love the idea that you presented, but it is too far of a shot. If we fail, then we have unleashed a curse that is ancient on this land. Then perhaps the mind becomes unusable. You take responsibility for it. James hesitates because that's a lot of weight to carry. We were talking about people's lives here, and James was again just really excited about the theory and etc. But then he gets that slightly confident look again, the same look that he used to give Father Gaius, when he was telling stories. A Blair is called a Blair because we look monsters in the eyes with bravery, not fear. That's what you taught me, Father. And this hits Gaius hard.
Ooh.
He's like, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Even Liz gets somewhat feels a little more determined after that, because that is kind of like the dogma she's been living by,
Yeah,
practically.
And Gaius has a deep sigh before looking at James man to man. Aye. It's all nice in fairy tales when you say that. But in reality, it's not as easy to pull the trigger when you know lives are on the line. I'm proud of you, my son. But I do not condone this plan. And James, seemingly defeated, walks out of the room.
And Liz is probably just gonna stand there, not go to one side or the other.
I'm also proud of you, my daughter.
Thank you, Father.
He nods before staring back into the fireplace. Just like, because it's like evening, winds are howling a little bit outside, and he does have this like pseudo nostalgic kind of sad look on his face, because he had to. Yeah, it's rough. It's a little rough.
Yeah.
I'll leave it open to you for a second. Is there anything you want to ask either of these two, or maybe your mother or Maria, or anything you wanted to do specifically?
Honestly, at this particular point, I hope this doesn't come off as the boring outcome, but she does feel basically torn in the middle, so she doesn't want to go to either of them. You know,
Okay, yeah.
She understands what her father is saying, but she also wants to follow her brother's vision. You know, and I feel like in the back of her head is still that heroic ideal of maybe if I get strong enough, I can just make it go away. You know? So I think she will literally just go outside and train on her own. Just to kind of be clear her head and affirm her own
Yeah. One of the people that quote unquote serves you, that works for your family, you see him drinking, and as a side note, you've probably seen these two a lot, these named NPCs a lot, because they worked at the mines for a decent amount of time. There is a at this point kind of like I want to say like mid-20s guy with dirty blonde hair, rather muscular, not as muscular as your father, but like he works out well, he has a very physically demanding job, as well as a very thin woman by the name of Olivia. The man's name is Bernard, and they see you off training alone as it begins to like rain a little bit. Even they talk amongst each other, and Olivia hits Bernard on the arm as Bernard walks over to you. Howdy, miss, or madam, or what do they call the fancy folk around here?
Oh, Elizabeth is fine.
Oh, well, that clears things up. Hi, Liz. Anything I could help you with? Maybe a beer? You see Olivia in the background. What the Bernard? Yikes! I mean, sorry. I don't know. Maybe a spa or something. You look like you got. You look like you got a lot on your mind.
Aye, that's correct. I mean, if you want to spar, yeah, I'd like that. I think.
Yep. I've seen your type before. Type that mostly does, a little bit of roughhouse and fighting, but has to think a lot. Seen that look on your face before, many times. And I don't know how to help you. I don't know the plights of a rich person, nor would I impose on you. But as my father always used to tell me when I was young, if you always got something clogged up in your brain, might as well punch something. What do you say?
I think I like that.
So he spars with you a little bit. Olivia sits back in the back, drinking totally not alcohol in front of the children. And she like waves off to you a little bit. She doesn't really get involved. And just watches you spar with one of the people that works for you. He's a chill dude. Also, AK, you were curate. He is definitely better than you, but so your father is probably like a little bit strict because he's trying to teach you, etc.
Yeah.
But Bernard is kind of like a big lovable idiot. You can probably tell that a little bit. So like he kind of like lets you win, even though he's probably much stronger than you, to the point where you can clearly see that. I don't know if that makes you angry or if that warms your heart a little bit, but yeah.
No, I don't think she would be angry. I mean, she understands that there are people around that are stronger than her. Her father, chief among them, you know. So it's just like a motivator, you know.
Yeah. And yeah, so for that night, nothing else particularly interesting happens. Again, like you spar with Bernard. Maybe you do have like a chat with Bernard and Olivia as they like talk about like I don't know the mind, etc., etc. But for the next few days, things are rather quiet in the manor, as you can probably imagine.
Yeah.
However, James not ready to give up. And multiple times you see him outside of his room a lot more now, as he continuously does not let the subject go. And over and over, he's like trying new ways to get your father to agree that this is the only way forward. And Gaia is continuously even digging in his heels more and more. Many different arguments back and forth are are slung each way, but it does not seem like either person is willing to budge. And as they continue to argue about it, it becomes tenuous.
Yeah, I think if I do see that, I'll try to talk to James at some point. Just kind of like get him on a point where he's not like, you know, trying to talk to dad. And it's like, James, I understand what you do, and to some extent, I think I may agree with it, but I don't think he's gonna change his mind. Is it worth straining your relationship so over that plan?
It is the one thing that I ever thought he would truly be proud of me for doing. It is.
I think he
the right
is.
plan. He says as much, but he is never really proud of me. How can he be proud of a bastard?
Damn, immediately they went into territory where she's not fucking equipped for.
If I am going to eventually lead this family, I want to know that I'm right for the job, that I can make plans that work. I thought that this one could work. I think that it can work. He just has to see that, that's all.
I don't know, James.
Like, you can tell, even though I know that, again, he looks a little bit hurt by that as you start to lose faith in it.
It's like, at this point, I've reached the thing where I'm like, I just don't want my family to fight anymore.
Yeah. And James, like, when he says that, he like crumples a bit inside, flinches, and he sighs. I understand. I won't mention it to father anymore.
Thank you. And, you know, once you take over the family, I mean, I'll still be here supporting you.
He smiles a bit.
Kind of like smile back and, you know.
Okay. Elizabeth Blair.
Lady Elizabeth Blair.
It is the middle of the night. Roll me a perception. you are awoken by a clang, as what it sounds like from outside the hallway. But maybe it's just like someone passing by, etc.
Yep, just kind of like wake up, kind of start with like a bit of a start, and I kind of like. Does it sound to continue, or is it just a clang?
Sounds like someone had dropped something vaguely outside of your room. Roll me another perception. Footsteps leading towards the front door of the manor.
In the beginning, I had almost like gone to reach for my sword just out of like instinct, but then I kind of like realized that probably someone from the house, so I don't. I just, go out to check.
So you catch him. He's already walked past your room and is walking down towards the exit. James, with a lantern, is walking outside at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Oh. Honestly, at this point, I don't want to believe he would just straight up disobey father. But I have to know. I'll try to just follow him.
All right. Ooh. Do you try to like stealthily follow him, or are you just following him?
Probably stealthily.
Always stealth.
Oh boy. Oh, that's natural 20!
It's a natural 20, baby.
Oh my fucking god!
James is going to
Miracles
the mines.
can happen.
James is going to the mines. No one is awake. The wind is quiet. It is a moonless night. The shadows stretch long across the trees.
It might be the 3 a.m. sudden fucking awakening, but she's still, she thinks he's probably going just to check it out. A bit unhealthy, but she's gonna, talk to him in the morning or something. She's gonna continue following.
At the very base, going down, a pit inside of your stomach wells, as you almost certainly know where he is headed. He is headed directly towards the barrier. And waiting for him there is a person that you've never seen before. A woman in a white suit with dark, thick glasses, who appears to be older, like in her 50s or 60s, but still has like high fashion of the outside world. Hello, Lucille. You hear him call out. And you've heard the name Lucille. Lucille is the town mage.
Ooh.
Did you get the things ready? That I did, darling Jane. But are you sure you want to do this? It's a fascinating theory that you have, but I'm not wrong. I've studied this for months now. All I have to do is cure the curse, and then they'll all see that I'm right. Okay? Don't say I didn't warn you. The old woman smiles towards James as James kneels down and begins like setting down stuff. What do you do?
I am so fucking torn.
Welcome to a Deo's Opinions D&D session.
It's
make choices.
pulling me in so many fucking directions. Liz has so many things on her head right now. I think she essentially falls into a state of analysis paralysis, and she just can't act. you know?
All right.
She
Lucille,
wants to do so many things at once that she ends up doing nothing.
Lucille and James slowly but surely go around towards a lot of the different runes and sigils, and speak words of magic in different tongues, especially abyssal. You see that when they do, they activate the long dormant runes. All of the runes, not all of them, but the runes every single time that they touch them and speak slowly glow with a very dark purplish aura. As they're going around, and as James is mostly the one that's doing this, Lucille is setting up these she's setting up like braziers every now and again, and then lighting them with a snap of her fingers, with a very similar dark purplish hue to the flame. And she sets up a few of these blazers and even incense, as it appears as if they're going to do some sort of ritual. So how exactly did you find out about what this curse was, James? It's a family secret. Our family has had deals with Abyssal before. Matching up exactly, let's just say our family probably isn't the only ones that are contracting with things from the other side, beyond the veil. We believe that someone here long ago made contact the same way that our ancestors did. And if that is the case, then I can put a stop to it. They're not unknowable beings, the same way that magic isn't unknowable. It's a science that can be learned. It can be defeated. There are things in this world that humans have tried for many years to conquer. Are you going to lecture me, or are you going to help? Been helping, Lucille says as she continues to set up stuff. Until finally, they begin casting. And for one, you may feel a slight sense of pride, because James doesn't show it off that much. I haven't talked about it, but he is a magician. He is a mage. Way more than he was ever good at swordplay. He is very good at magic. And you know that Lucille is also doing some of this, but them casting together is more magic and more like very intricate, complex. They're like weaving together spells and like putting things into wards on the walls, etc., activating all of these abyssal runes at once. I don't know if you feel pride or disgust at what he's doing, but he is, you know, in that moment, James is a decent mage.
She definitely feels fucking pride.
Yeah.
It's, you know, for a moment, she actually believes in the hype, you know? It's like, my brother is a goddamn fucking wizard, you know? He's got this.
He's got this, and he seems confident. He's like, I got this. We're gonna break this seal, and we're gonna beat whatever the fuck is in here. I'm gonna save the family, and I'm gonna prove that I am actually worthy of the Blair name. And he does it. With a massive explosion of pure arcane energy. All of the runes light up across the hall, and even to where you are, you see them lighting up even all over the place, all across the mines, as it feels like the mines activate, as if it was almost like a machine of sorts, as they start to glow and hum with energy. And in reaction to this, the barrier starts to visibly shake and spark here and there. Things are going to be a little bit rough. Let me handle that. As Lucille puts her hand directly onto the barrier, and you see her skin on her hand turn black, as it's burning the skin right off. And she just keeps pressing her hand right up against the barrier. And eventually, crack, crack, crack. As the barrier, what had held here for centuries, shatters like glass. Oh, that hurt. Nothing for progress. You're right, James says, out of breath. All right, we just have to... Standing at the end of the hallway, beyond the barrier where it was, beyond where you are now, far, far beyond, deep down, there is a figure. what appears to be a man, cloaked in a pitch black cloak. This man has no face. It is just darkness. For a moment he is there, and then for a moment he is gone. What was that? The curse, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. We should head further in. As Lucille and James slowly start to move past where the barrier was. What do you do?
Oh, I need to follow at this point.
You can follow, or at this you have again probably two big options: get the fuck up and warn your father, or keep following.
True. I saw the figure,
Yes.
and I think Liz might be impressionable and she might be naive, but that's 18 int, baby. She's not fucking stupid. Curses don't fucking talk.
They do not. Daigo may have been lying to you. Or wrong. Who knows? Daigo might just be wrong as well.
Doesn't fucking matter. I will. You know, this was one step too fucking weird. You know? I will run up and warn father.
Alright, seeing that, you go, no the fuck, thank you. Actually, I'm good. And you get up, and without what they don't notice it because there are like sigils on the walls everywhere glowing, and everything like that.
You know, and especially the moment, like I had like believed in James's hype, but the moment they're both like, I don't know what that was. Let's go further in. I'm like, oh, they probably are more excited about what they're going to find than aware of the dangers.
All right, you go toward Gaius. So you wake up Gaius in the middle of the night. What do you say to him specifically?
Father, it's James. He's down. He broke the barrier.
What? He what?
He's down there with like a woman from the town, and they broke the barrier.
When did this happen?
Now.
As you say now, the earth quakes. I will go. As he immediately jumps out of bed.
I will try to follow him.
All right, he is not going to stop you. He trusts you.
Okay.
So it was the middle of the night. There were seemingly like a few people that were still in the mines. Maybe they were sleeping there overnight because they didn't have anywhere to go, etc., etc. But they are now running out of the mine. There weren't many. Again, it was like 3 a.m. But they are running out in terror of something further in. A half-dressed Gaius with seemingly no weapon, I said seemingly, strolls in past all of them with a stern look on his face, like he is ready to fight. Down, down, down you go to the point where the barrier was, the runes still faintly lit with that purplish energy. They went past here.
Yes.
Ready your blade.
I will do as told.
Roll me perception.
Okay.
The most useful skill.
The most useful skill.
What's here? Nothing. As I mentioned, there were still like a few people here and there scattered about within the tunnels. So you do hear footsteps behind you, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, yes.
Yeah. As Gaius strolls into the center caverns that you have never been in before at all. Caverns that have been undisturbed for a very long time. And as you get to center of the room, the same way that there were runes and abyssal carved all around the walls and the ceilings of the cave, there is a picture carved It depicts a man in a cloak raising something to the sky, and a whole bunch of people around him bowing to that man. Or that's not quite right. Because it looks like the man is offering something to what is above him, and people are bowing to whatever it is as well. It is a giant serpent. As you see, it coils around the entire room. It's not real, it's just a carving. Something unsettles you about it.
And the painting.
It's not a no. It's a carving. This was carved into the walls. It's glowing carving. Faintly the same way. Yeah.
Okay. I see. Does it look like this thing must have been here for thousands of years if the idol is to be believed?
Yep.
How worn and torn does it look?
It has withstood well much more than it should have if it had been down here for that long.
Oh, fuck. Now, do snakes speak?
Not from what you know, no.
Not from what I know. Well, I'm gonna continue following Father.
Father goes a little bit more in. Before a body is thrown out from deeper in the caves, slamming onto the ground.
Oh.
Lucille is bloody and unconscious. Blood dripping down the side of her head. Large gashes inside of her body. You do not know if she is alive. A roar comes from deep within.
Immediately, like, eyes widen and, like, just, like, cold sweat, breath stuck on throat. Just first time I've seen anyone in this fucking condition.
Yeah. And then you hear footsteps coming closer and closer. It is James. James immediately enters. He has blood dripping down one of his arms. It's bent in a way that it does not look supposed to be bent in. Father, it's not a curse. It's... Your father is not pleased. But he just nods. And James immediately picks up on that. But Gaius nods. Go. We must run now. We are leaving.
I pick up like Lucille's body, and I'm just like, I imagine that we'll both start booking it.
Yes, as you start running immediately, as something larger footsteps are following. All right.
Yeah, doing.
You are being chased through these winding caverns. You know these like the back of your hands, but you don't know if it's because of the runes or what's happening. As I said, the earth has shaken and continues to every now and again shake. And every time that it does, you're in a fucking cave. Rocks collapse. Remember those tunnels that I said that are probably unsafe? You walk past one of them, you see like one of like a miner that you've probably seen a couple of times. He's like running towards you, screaming, and then the rocks collapse in between you and him. He is gone. Your father yells as he's running out.
Just kind of like running, vision is getting blurry, and she doesn't understand why, but fucking Liz is fucking crying.
Yes, it is no good, very bad.
Yeah, just saw a fucking person get killed.
Yes, and you see like there are like people, even like villagers that are like you come across one whose arm was crushed by a rock, who's like crawling, trying to get out as the earth is shaking, and what a creature is running behind you that you have not seen yet.
Yeah.
Fuck. You would hear its footsteps as it chases you through the halls.
I am strong. I am gonna take him.
Roll athletics.
Athletics.
You do. You rip him out. His leg does not make it very well, but he is going to survive.
Yeah.
Oh, and so carrying this villager,
Pure fucking
a
adrenaline.
couple of the others left. As you get to the central main hall, there it is, the exit. Boom. It shakes. The runes glow in intensity, and the exit caves in front of you.
Fuck.
James, work on opening it. As your father turns around, reaches out his hand, and in his hand materializes a Zweihander.
I pull out my own, considerably less impressive longsword.
Liz, stand behind me.
I do a stalled.
All right. Give me 1 second. Make sure everything is set up before I move you over to the combat arena.
Check the... By the way, check DMs real quick, just in case you haven't.
Whoops. Ignore that for... Hey, stream, ignore that. Pretend you didn't see that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you didn't see it. I know you didn't see anything, but...
I didn't see anything.
You didn't see shit. Stream, ignore that. Pretend you didn't see that. Okay, let me set up everything here. Yep, you... Well, oh, you still have a villager in your hands. You just set him down next to you, assumingly, or put him a little bit away.
Yeah.
Towards James.
I basically put him a little bit away towards James, yes.
Okay, he'll be right here. Okay. I think... Oh, yeah. Are you ready for combat?
As ready as I can be. It's my first fucking Pathfinder 2e combat.
Welcome. As water begins to flow from different places, as it begins to flood the cave, it is dire. The exit up here all the way to the north, as I think that you now hear. This is the exit that you guys are trying to go through as the cave is being, caved in. Your father is standing face to face with a Rakshasa. What is a Rakshasa? As it finally reaches up from the bottom of the cave and is enters the same central area that all of you are in, as the water is flooding and cracking in from places that you don't even understand. The runes are glowing all across the walls, and the exit is caved in, and James is going to be trying to desperately uncave it in. A Rakshasa is a blue beast, almost like a troll in its build. It has bits and pieces of what appear to be rocks sticking out of its skin. And its most distinctive feature is that it has one big giant eye. You can think of probably somewhere between a troll and a cyclops. If you specifically want to look into it, if you go to the Google Doc itself, as I've mentioned before, you'll see it there under monsters.
And I have never seen anything like that in my life.
No, it is a monster. It is a monster out of myth and legend.
I've probably read stuff about stuff like this, but never seen one.
Correct. All right, ignore that. Oh, the turn order still had the old things from the old thing. Ignore that. Okay. Roll me initiative.
I am not sure how I do that in this sheet.
It's under it will just be perception for this one. It's under perception over to the right of where you actually roll your perception. It's initiative. And you will be rolling it for the whatchamacallit. There you go. You went before your father. Look at you. He's gonna be so proud. Damn. Whoops, I did not mean to add another James. I wanted to open the character James. Thank you very much.
One of them fucked up bad enough.
And then I open the Rakshasa. All right. You go first.
I will do something that could be pretty big brain.
Okay.
So, Liz knows a few spells, knows a bit of swordsmanship, but she's not her father.
Hmm.
So perhaps if her father was even more her father, he could help more than she could with this attack or spell. So she's gonna haste her father.
All right. You cast haste on Gaius.
Yep. So with 2 actions, she casts it, and with 1 action, she strides to move right behind him so he can touch him. Right? That's how it works?
Yes.
Nice.
All right. So yes, you cast haste on Gaius, and as he feels the magic on him, he looks down to you and nods. And then he is just going to he's going to move up here first of all, and he's going to swing 3 times. Oh, okay. 2 of them hit. One of them nat 20s. So Gaius goes in and he swings his sword. The first one cutting across the thing's body. It howls in pain, and then he stabs it seemingly right through the heart. But the beast is still standing. James begins to walks over to here with 1 action, and he begins to cast something on the rocks. But you see that I don't know how much attention you can pay to him right now, but he is a little bit stressed out.
Yeah.
The Rakshasa, and you don't know about these things. Again, this is just a monster that was deep down inside of the ground, right?
Yup.
The gashes, these massive wounds that Gaius has opened up inside of its body, begin to heal almost instantaneously.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear whispers in the air as it swipes once. And then I need you to roll me a fortitude.
Okay.
You pass. Gaius passes. Oh, James. Woo! James passes.
James
19.
passes. Let's go.
As it roars, and attempts to create, it roars. Like all it does is roar. It just roars, an earth-shattering roar. That almost shakes the cavern a little bit. However, all of the villagers that you see sprinkled around automatically fail, and they scream in terror. Even like this villager over here right now, this is the one without the leg. He's like crawling, trying to dig his hands into the ground as he's crawling up the rocks, trying to get out towards the exit as James is casting magic on the rocks. It's doing something. James says. I don't know what, but it's trying to do something specific.
All right. And continuing with the tactic of turning my father into an absolute fucking monster, I promise, guys, I will use these buffs on myself during the main campaign, but this is Kid Liz, okay? So she's going to cast Fire Shield on her father.
Okay. That is very funny. So with 1 action, move up.
1 action to stride. Yep.
Okay.
With stride, you can move forth, cast, and then move back, right? It's not like
you have
to move and then cast. Yeah.
Okay. So Gaius goes to strike, and then you notice around you, specifically this villager up here, starts to scream as if he is in agony while gripping his head. You look at him at all. You can spend your reaction to look over and pay attention to him.
Definitely.
His eyes start to glow yellow.
Oh. Oh no.
Gaius continues to wail on this thing, it blocking with its claws here and there, but still, even when he blocks, his sword digs into its skin, cutting it, blood flying everywhere. This is your first taste of actual combat, actual life and death scenario.
Yeah. I can. He's good.
James looks around. One of the you hear more screaming from the villagers up here. It did something to them. They're changing. As he continues to cast spells on the rocks above, trying desperately to move the cave in, these boulders that are now in the way, this rubble. So, you are standing in a very awkward position.
Yep.
Does 25 hit? Meets beats, actually.
25
yeah, right?
meets beats.
Yes.
Yep.
So, you can almost see as this, like, energy... actually, roll me a perception. Or, no, it'd be arcane. Roll me an arcane. Okay. I keep saying arcane. Ooh.
Whoa.
So you don't actually know what it is, but it seems like it's absorbing something into its eye. And as it does, it shoots out a beam of freezing cold energy in a 60-foot line. Hitting
So
both you
fire
and
shield.
Guys.
Hey, fire shield is actually pretty good for that. It gives you fucking cold resistance.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I laughed a little bit when you gave... Yeah, because it gives cold resistance. With its last action, it is going to swipe once again at Gaius, and that actually hits him. So you see your father wince as the claws dig into his skin, ripping
Shit,
apart.
I might actually be a better fighter than my father. Fuck, maybe I should have used those buffs.
He has 24 AC. It beats him too. All right, Liz. The villagers are slowly starting to hear. I'll tell you which ones are quote unquote infected. Whoops, these are still here for. So this one right up here, this one with the dot, and this one with the dot are infected so far.
This one with a dot. This one with a dot.
Yep. And they're both of their eyes are yellow. What do? Do you keep buffing Gaius? I mean, he's handled it pretty well. He took a little bit damage.
Yeah. I actually don't have any more spells to actually buff Gaius, so that's
Also, I remember you did take 23 cold damage, by the way, though.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes, just as a reminder. Because it was a beam, so it shot both you and your father.
69 HP, nice.
Nice. And that hurt. That was, again, that might be your... That fucking hurt.
Yeah, that's not fucking training.
Yes. And just like before, remember, Gaius is slashing into this thing, tearing it apart over and over again, and it just keeps healing.
The problem is that with my speed, there is not much I can do to help against the infected citizens, you know? It's like, what will I do? Where will I go? How will I even fight them, you know? Also, I did see that this thing seems to be pretty icy.
Yep.
So maybe it doesn't do well against fire. So, and stop me if I can't do that, I will walk up and spell strike it and infuse my sword with a fireball.
Okay. I don't remember specifically about spell strike, but I think you can do that.
Cool.
Oh no, for right now, we can look at it later if we need to, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you can.
So I just strike it, right? And
yes,
when I strike it, I enter
fireball,
a cascade. Yeah, cool. Also, guys, ignore the name of the sword. I don't have that sword. It's just I just have like a normal greatsword.
That hits.
There we go.
It does not crit.
And for the fireball. There we go.
Okay, fireball is a reflex save. Yes, basic reflex save. The Rakshasa has a really bad reflex. Oh. Oh, that is a little unfortunate. So you do hit it. So your blade slashes into it, but as you go, there's like a little bit of delay because again, you are again like a little bit of a kid at this point. You're more adult than what you used to be, but you're still not practiced with it, and so maybe it's the fear, maybe it's nerves. But there's a delay between your slash and the actual releasing of the fireball, and the Rakshasa dodges out of the way. It's surprisingly agile for a creature of its size. Go.
Fair.
Liz, help the others.
I don't think I can reach him, Father.
You can't stay here. I have to hold it down. It's too dangerous.
That's why we must kill it.
He looks at you like a please don't.
Fuck.
He's going to slash. One of them hit. Oh wait, did that crit? Yes, that crits. Okay, roll the critical damage for that.
Nice.
It's getting worse. It's very bad, no good.
Oh.
The villager up here who is screaming to the left. You see. Whoops! No, do not add him to the. Oh no, actually, well, no, never mind. You see him, his eyes, the flame that is in his eyes, slowly starts to consume his entire head as he screams in agony, his hair, his skin on fire, before finally the screaming stops and his head is crushed inside of itself, imploding. All that's left of his head is a burning husk as a creature. It is a human body with a small little dot, black dot in the center of where his head should be, and the rest is just fire.
Wow.
The same thing happens to this villager over here. I will add a turn for them. What? Should I? They're still people, right? I can't kill them. The thing slowly walks over towards James.
James, he's not a person anymore. Snap out of it.
I need James. Roll a fortitude. That's fine. It goes up and it puts a hand, trying to put a hand on his face. And James, at the very last second, as you say that, gets out of its grasp. What is happening? I don't understand. Is this the curse? This can't be a curse. This is like nothing I've ever seen before. This is why you don't fuck with things you don't understand, James. Right? Does this hit you? No, it does not, actually.
Nope.
Other two. That is aimed at you. That is aimed at your father. So, with the first one, he swipes his claws, trying to aim at both of you. The, which one? 22, which misses both of you. It's both of you almost in unison, using the same exact move that Gaius taught you. Step back and dodge the swipe. It seeing that, swipes at you specifically, and then Gaius gets a little bit distracted, seeing that it's going for you, and he's like, hey, Liz, don't, and then, boom. Not very good. His claws rip into your father's bare skin.
Fuck. Well, he does take 2d6 fire damage.
He does. Roll 2d6.
Woo! Fuck.
Roll me another Arcana roll as a reaction if you want. That passes this time. You see, and this is going to leave you the very. This might be a. it is feeding off of the villagers somehow. You can feel the mana in the air is being absorbed, specifically and only from the villagers, into its eye, as it's absorbing their energy. Their mana.
I guess that might be the whole thing where we three, like, saved, so that's why we're not getting fucked.
And the villagers auto-failed, because they're fucking villagers.
Well, we can't be getting that much fucking mana from the villagers. Does it seem to be out healing us? We are doing some decent DPS.
It does seem like it is regenerating decently fast.
Fuck.
And now you have these things to worry about. Liz, go help your brother.
Kind of like look at him, look at it, look at him again, like, all right.
He needs you. Roll me a perception, by the way, as you're going up. Fails again. All right, you go. Continue. Sorry, do your turn.
Fuck.
Don't worry about it.
Fuck.
Don't worry about it.
So
That's
wait,
gonna
how
be
can I
brutal.
disengage? Is it like a? Is it like a?
Oh shoot!
an action?
You can just move and hope that it doesn't have attack of opportunity. You can just stride.
Can I get an advantage on the perception if I guess what it is?
Sure.
It's Maria.
Yeah, roll me again. Roll it again.
Okay, cool.
Roll it again.
I am tuned in.
You still don't see her. All right, it's fine.
Okay, how do I do disengage again?
Oh god.
You know what? Fuck it. Does
Okay.
it? I don't think it has attack opportunity. Fuck it. I'm just gonna go. Well, fuck it.
It
Ah,
does.
it does.
As its
Okay.
claws
Well,
rip into you and deal 9 damage plus 2 additional cold damage.
fuck.
But yes, you can now continue like to make your stride. It doesn't stop you or anything like that. It just hits you.
Okay, so 1 stride, 2 stride, and I am going to, with the blunt side of my sword, non-lethally knock out this villager.
Smart idea. As the guy,
Doesn't-
and that was the guy
doesn't
also who doesn't have a leg, so like he's crawling away. You see his eyes start to turn
Yup.
yellow, and you just boom.
Yeah. I'm very sorry about this!
Okay. Oh, let's go, my lad. That last one missed. Haste has worn off by now. But he slashes twice.
has?
Has it
It
not?
was 1 minute.
Oh, it's 1 minute. Holy shit,
Yeah.
he's popping. Hold on. Oh,
Yeah, that's why I
James, who is
fucking
like
buffed the shit out of it.
That's a good ass spell. Oh well. Anyway,
Oh.
he continues to do battle with it. James looks over towards you and then looks back towards this thing. Is it too late? Oh,
I don't know, I think it might be.
oh, all right. He goes to shocking grasp. That hits. In fact, does that crit? No, it does not. They don't have that low IC. As he goes over to it and he puts his hand onto it and electrifies it, and I'll tell you, it's a little rough because that you see the head is the only thing that's imploded on these things. It's just a normal villager's body, and James puts his hand up to its chest, and you see the body of a person maybe that you vaguely recognized that worked for you in the in the mines that you've seen every day, that you saw have children. You see James walk up and electrifies the shit out of this guy's body, and he, as it stumbles back, almost perish. And James does not look great about that. I don't know how much I could do this. And then you see around him, hip.
James, knock out the ones that haven't turned yet.
Well, all right. As with his last action stride, he walks over here.
Yeah.
This thing, this one will move. Let me see. How far does it have? What do we got going on here? Yeah. Little boy mindlessly walks over to here towards you. This one walks over to James again. I need James to roll fortitude. You passed twice, James. Don't fail me now. You're so good.
There we go.
He's a Giga Chad. He's part of the Blair family.
James and Giga Chan, let's go. Always up Blair.
So you can't tell exactly what's happening still, but you see that it's absorbed enough energy. It misses.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. That was a natural one with a plus 20.
Yeah, this thing is not to be fucked with. And it misses twice. So it fires off.
God.
It fires off another one of the laser beams of cold damage, but your father dodges out of the way, tumbling to the side as it swipes its claws, and he blocks it with his sword.
Let's go. I didn't buff him to heaven and back for no reason.
All right.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bonk.
Okay.
Fuck. It might go for the villagers, and I don't want it to go for the villagers. And I think James can use one action to bonk this guy and 2 actions to kill this thing. So maybe he's good.
He's probably good.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna engage with it.
All right.
Just so it doesn't have any avenue to like reach the villagers, because I also have attack opportunity.
Okay. Ooh.
Guys, he's the man.
One hit. Oh, it's
Jesus
brutal.
Christ.
He still has haste. One more hit. One more hit. Oh no. There's a natural 2, natural 3. You can see your father is starting to get tired. He is older. He's in like his 40s.
Let me check my fire shield again. Will it get 2d6 for just attacking him?
For missing him.
Creatures that hit you, as well as creatures that touch or hit you with an unarmed attack. No, I think it's just hitting.
I'm sorry, James says as he electrocutes this thing and it perishes before he knocks out the turning villager. And as he knocks him out, like James reaches down, and as he does, the villager's eyes, he's screaming. And actually, you hear him scream, "Let it come into being," before James knocks him out.
Okay, that means there's one more villager that's about to turn in this thing, and then the Rakshasa finishes. Doesn't have any more healing, hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. This thing walks over to James. It's so easy. Just pass the fortitude save. Okay. Your turn. Pass the fortitude save. Roll me fortitude.
Okay. Just do it.
Yep, roll me fortitude.
Hey.
You're so easy. As both of them, and these things don't appear to be throwing that much of a threat. It's more of like a psychological damage, as watching a man with a head imploded, whose skull is now nothing more than like a black dot that's on fire, reaching out toward you, trying to do something. And as it reaches out its hand, by the way, you get this eerie feeling that if you let that thing touch you, something very bad could happen. Something very bad, no good. No, very, very bad, no good.
Come on, Dad, you got this.
Unfortunately, he does not.
What? Is it that much fucking... Like, is the differential that big right now?
No.
Oh.
Your father is putting up a very good fight. Your father is a warrior. Is a man that fits the Blair name of Legends, as he is going toe-to-toe with this beast, this psychoptic troll with regenerative powers that is feeding off of something of the villagers. Firing fucking ice laser beams. He is out there. He's a trooper. He's doing it, okay?
Yeah, we're
slashing
like
into this thing. And it looks like if they're not,
hopefully robbing it of its energy.
If they're not even, then your father was winning. especially as you're going around and sapping it of its batteries, pretty much. However,
Okay.
out of nowhere, something gets in the way. Oh boy. Don't you love Dungeons and Dragons, Skorak?
This is Pathfinder.
For the Blair family! Maria, who you have failed to see multiple times following you. She had always shadowed her sister. She always shadowed her big sister. Always wanted to be like her. Even way back when, she told on you for seeing James, but that's because she was shadowing you even then. She always followed you, always tried to look up to you, and just like you had run in, she, with 2 makeshift daggers, runs across this flowing water right over towards the Rakshasa. The Rakshasa looks at it, and as she gets about right here, its eye starts to spin a little bit in its socket, a very gruesome and disgusting thing. And Maria stops. Her eyes starting to turn yellow.
Dad, you have to knock her out.
Gaius steps directly in the middle of both of them and takes the hit for her. The laser beam firing out, hitting a direct square hit on him. I think it does, like, give me 1 second.
Okay, so that wasn't taken over. That was just a big fuck off laser.
So
Maybe she can take that.
So the laser beam fires directly onto your father, hitting him square in the shoulder as he goes falling off down into the cliffs below.
No.
He drove by, stood directly in front of them, and took that beam, and then he falls off. As he dropped his sword, as he drops it, vanishes into nothing. Maria, standing there, is terrified. He throws a single dagger. I just want to know if this hits for posterity's sake. But it's like, she is... It does not. It glances off of the beast's body, his skin harder than the small girl could throw, as the eyes start spinning again, and you can see Maria's hair, that pitch black hair, but to slowly be drained of its color, as if it is sucking out her life force right before your eyes. Your turn.
1, 2, 3. If this thing also has a lag opportunity, I'm gonna flip.
It does not. It does not. It does not. It does not.
3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. And okay, this will be bending the rules somewhat, but I used all 3 of my actions to fucking, stride.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on a full-on charge.
I'll allow you here.
I might not be as strong as my father, but I'm damn fucking strong.
So here,
I'll try to just ram it off the edge.
I'll allow this here. You can use a hero point, because remember, you have a hero point. Usually it's just for a reroll. You could use your hero point for the pre-session. It's a session. Roll me athletics, because you're attempting to knock it out, right? You're not just hitting it.
Yep, I am just attempting. I'm not even hitting it, right? I'm just attempting to ram it off, 29.
That passes most of the way.
That's just...
So you ram into this thing, kneeing it directly in the eye. It reels back, stopping whatever it was doing to Maria. She falls limp to the ground next to you, and you see the Rakshasa. It slides off, getting closer and closer to the edge, and then it barely stops, digging in its claws and looking at you. At this point, hope seems lost. Your father is down there. This thing is still regenerating its body, looking at you. Maria is down next to you. James is surrounded by these villagers who are turning. It looks bad. Gaius is unconscious. What happened? What's going on?
Kill them, James! Kill them!
Oh, 7 damage. He uses shocking grasp, and is there any... There's really nothing. This one's already unconscious. Oh man, could he do anything else? He casts shield on himself. That won't help. Oops. Oh yes, it's just a fortitude. I just need to roll a fortitude for James. Quick. Oh, as it grabs a hold of James's face for a moment, he breaks it off really quickly. They're not very strong. But you see him yell in pain and grab his head in a very similar way to the villagers did before their heads imploded.
No, no.
The Rakshasa, confident, almost smiles at you as it walks up and tries to dig its claws into you. You somehow still a hold of your mental faculties, dodge out of the way and rebuke it.
You see, like, as it smiles, instead of defeated, he just sees something, right? Like, the expression on her face, it's ugly. Even for a monster.
All right, Liz.
You will die. I will kill you. As it swipes, I'm gonna try to use its arm as a foothold to jump up and jam my sword directly into its eye.
All right.
As I am spell striking with Gouging Claw. And let's see. 25.
That hits.
And Gouging Claw.
Also an attack roll, so it's against his AC.
Yep.
That also hits.
I think with Spell Strike, you just use the first one.
Okay, so if it's 2, okay, yes, then they both hit.
Yeah. They hit,
Takes
and
total
I
of
also do
14.
2 additional damage because I am on Arcane Cascade.
He takes a decent amount of damage, actually, yeah. As you stab your sword into him and try to gouge this thing out. It howls in pain. Even if it does regenerate, it can still feel pain.
Yup.
And you clearly fucked this thing up.
Yeah, I'm like, good. I like it better this way. As she's just completely fucking... She just saw everything she fucking loved basically ripped from her. And she just wants to make this thing hurt. She thinks she's gonna die here, but she wants this thing to feel as much pain as she can before it dies.
So, you don't see him because he is below your field of vision. Up below you, Gaius stands up, summons his sword, and enters a stance that he had never taught you. As he leaps up from all the way from below, sword in hand, swinging his sword, swinging downwards. And again, it's a visceral stance. Like the way he's swinging his sword, the way he's doing what he's doing is not normal. At least according to like everything that he's taught you. It's a much more like visceral, guttural way of wielding a blade. Almost like a barbarian. It feels very similar to a barbarian entering rage, actually, as you see like his face is shrouded over with this calm rage as he reaches up, kind of almost similar to yours, stabbing his own sword deep into its gut. Tell me, monster, do you feel fear? The Rakshasa, bleeding out of its eye and now its stomach, does look like it feels a little bit of fear.
Wait, does it have 2 more attacks?
No, he took a whatchamacallit. It takes an action to enter the stance. He took an action to jump up here.
Okay, fair enough. What's happening to James, though?
On his turn. Oh. Don't worry about it. James, so you see, he like is faltering back a little bit, like stumbling with his head gripped on. But then he opens his eyes. Get the fuck out of my head. I know what you are. And he says words in Abyssal that you don't understand.
Oh, true name? Confirmed true name?
These things have fucking awful will. It fails.
Oh my fucking god.
As he says something in Abyssal that you don't recognize, fucking kill yourself. And on its turn,
Actually hit him with a kill yourself.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
and on its turn, this thing reaches, it raises a hand, and reaches in and rips out its own heart.
Fuck me, man.
In the same whisper on the wind that you'd heard before from beyond the gate before it was broken, you hear, "Why resist? You all die in the end anyway."
Can I fucking answer?
You can, yeah.
Because fuck you, that's why!
As it looks like it's absorbing energy again, but it's taking longer. All it does at the moment, roll me a will save.
Okay, let's see. They're not as good as my 40 dudes. Oh?
You pass. Barely, but you pass. As it lets out another roar like it had at the very beginning of the of the fight. James is out of range this time, but Gaius has to roll will. Oh no, Gaius is immune to fear effect. It wouldn't matter anyway. While in the sense, Gaius is
Anyway. It's a fear effect. Well, once again, Arcane Cascade. Sorry, not Arcane Cascade. Spell Strike.
Same thing, kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
That
That
misses.
Yeah. And I guess I'll just do a second hit with my sword normally.
Okay. That hits.
Oh, actually, that fucking hit. Wait, why didn't you do the damage?
Did you hit the
we
2
can-
on your sheet? You just roll the.
Yeah,
we
hit the
can
2.
we can take the damage from the first swing. It's okay.
Yeah,
I
19
think,
plus
yeah.
2, yeah. Wow, that's insane how that one hit.
So, in a moment, and you see your father now. Not like he was already like everything that he'd taught you, everything that he'd fought for, etc., etc. He was a good warrior, you know that. But there's a difference in the air. As he's and the stance, by the way, he's holding his weapon, his Vihander, down, touching the ground next to him, almost as if it was like a very lazy stance. When I say when the description said very calm rage, it almost feels as if he's like waiting his breath for something. And doesn't he gives up his first action, doesn't do much. Before he moves over towards you, preparing for something. I'll figure it out. I can find this. I can. And, James is flipping through his notebook. I just have to find its name. You there? As he looks over towards this one, which was slowly moving over towards you. Kill yourself as well.
Damn! He's just being like, hey, you! Wait, is it invoking the names of the thing or the miners?
You don't know.
Huh?
You do not know. As this thing stops as it was creeping up on you, trying to kill you, and it is forced to kill itself.
Fuck. He's scary. That's scary.
The Rakshasa, one last time, goes to fire out its eye beam, but it would hit all of you, including Maria. As it looked like he was waiting for something, Gaius parries the eye beam.
Oh my fucking god.
This is should have added this beforehand, but under this, or he attempts to parry the eye beam. Whoops! What did I do wrong there? Whoops! He parries the eye beam.
Oh my fucking god.
As you see him, he was like waiting, as I said, like he gets. That's why he moved over towards you now. You can tell. He's waiting. It goes to fire, and as it does, he slams his sword directly right up into this fucker's face. Give me one more normal to hit. Liz. The beam, by the way, completely misses you guys, and just like you see the beam of ice cold reaching into the ceiling and everything like that. Rocks are coming down, etc.
Oh, I miss.
That misses.
Oh, I could miss. Then the second attack always likes to hit.
Which is funny because they
So 12 damage.
All right, 12 damage. It looks like this thing is dying, like, and you could tell whatever it was using the villagers to feed in some way, and it can't anymore for some reason. As Gaius raises his blade. Never fuck with a Blair. As he swings his sword in an almost unfollowable, whoops, nope. Ignore that? Is that the... Ignore that. Pretend you didn't see that. And an almost unfollowable motion. There it is. And swings down, cutting this thing's head off. Unless he crit fails, we'll see. Yeah.
Oh.
You have never seen this technique, and for a moment, you can roll me Arcana, actually.
Okay, yeah, no, that might as well. Fuck.
No, that passes. It was a very low DC. Your father is using dark magic. As you can tell, these movements are unnatural, beyond what humans should be capable of. As he swings down, it is literally unfollowable. Like, it's too fast for human eyes, the sword swing. That final sword swing as he cuts off its head. It
So
drains his
the
vitality.
uses a bit of dark magic, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. He never taught you this. I wonder why. As the Rakshasa finally dies. James, so help me, Lord, if you don't open that fucking... As he says that, James turns around and just straight up casts Fireball directly onto the he's like, fuck it, because he was trying to like slowly move it out to not disturb the rest of the, he turns around, he goes, yeah, and blows this out. Combat over.
Yep. I grab Maria, I imagine my father and James grab also the villagers that are left alive and,
Yep.
Just fucking run out.
Ooh.
Practically like just Superman jump out into the fucking snow.
Yep.
I have never been happier in my life to see snow.
All right. Maria is unconscious. Lucille is unconscious. A lot of the villagers are bloody and bruised. The mine has been damaged in a lot of different ways. James is exhausted. You can still see that brief fire in his eyes before it eventually fades. Before he turns around. We did it. That was it. That must have been the source of the curse. What have you done? You say anything?
She just kind of, she at this point with all of the adrenaline and all of the fucking hatred and the rage and that, that little Blair dark fucking magic perhaps, now not coursing through her veins anymore. She just kind of like hugs herself and she's like, all those people, all dead. Just like hyperventilating just in the corner.
Yeah, Gaius walks over towards you and hugs you a little bit, pressing you up against him. Why didn't you just listen to me? Why didn't you listen to me? We did it. We could do it. At what cost, James? How do we even know that we defeated what was in there? That was a Rakshasa. It was a monster, a beast. It was not the curse that was infecting the villagers. But we defeated. I only wanted to help. Well, you didn't. You could have helped if you would just listen to me once in your life. You say I do not listen to you, but I do. Have you really ever given swordplay a chance like I asked you to? Instead, you read these books, this abyssal that Grace and me have told you time and time again only leads to despair. I was proud of you, my son. And now I am disappointed. James collapsed down onto the ground. And Maria, weakly, is awake. Her hair white. You don't know the side effects permanently, what that's had on her. And she looks up towards James. Can't really blame him, father. He was never really a Blair anyway. And with that, James looks up like a lost puppy towards Gaius. Gaius looks down towards Maria like he wants to say something, but then he sees that her hair has gone completely white, that his daughter has almost died due to what James has done. He looks at James, just turns his head away, does not say anything. James stands up, silently goes to walk towards them.
I don't think I can say something in this moment.
No, that's okay. We can fade to black on that scene. So, it is rough from here on out. Another zooming out from a scene to like a general time span as we're time skipping again. That seal being broken was bad. As your father pointed out, that the Rakshasa, and he can describe to you, by the way, he knows what that is. They are native to this land. They are mystical beasts that are very rarely found. They are half fae, half troll. They feed on fear. That's why when you knocked the villagers out, they can no longer absorb the fear, and that's what that will save was them trying to make you afraid by screaming and roaring and to make you terrorized. And once they fed on enough fear, they can do the eye beam, etc. But that was just in there. We don't know how long, again, because they don't feed like normal people. Perhaps they were just feeding off of the fear of the miners, etc., etc. That wasn't the curse. And you might have an idea of what the quote-unquote curse was as that figure that you saw deep in there.
Yeah.
And breaking that barrier was very bad. The sickness starts to spread amongst the people in the village that come to the place. Less and less villagers sign up to even be a part of the mines. And even worse, her father's health starts to take a turn for the worse. I'd always said he's a very hands-on man. There's a problem inside of the mine, he is going to be in there helping them, even if he instructs you not to because of the dangers of it. You don't know if it was because of the fight with the Rakshasa. You don't know when it happened specifically, but he, no matter what you tell him, keeps going inside of the mine to help his people, to help the people that he hired. And eventually, the curse starts to spread to him as well.
I definitely tried to convince him to stop going down there.
Maria, for the most part, is fine. Her hair never turns back. And her magic is warped in a way. Beyond that, her emotions seem stunted. She has a hard time making expressions. Almost as if they're robbed from her. And finally, James just leaves. One night, he's just gone. You can't find him. No one can. No note, no nothing.
Oh man, that hurts.
Yeah. When you try to convince your father to stop going in, and when his sickness has gotten pretty bad at this point, he meets you on this hill right up here. Opposite the GM lair. He meets you on the hill overlooking the mines themselves. He looks out towards what he had built throughout his lifetime, the not kingdom, but the things that he had built for the betterment of the family, with this sad, nostalgic look. His health has been deteriorated over the years as ever since the incident.
Father, you know you shouldn't be out this time. Snow isn't good for your health.
I as usual. Um I never did tell you why the Blairs were exiled.
Nay?
The story, no matter if your brother wants to believe it, whatever he is, of what we did in Edinburgh is true. Know that deep in your heart, and hold it with pride. But our forefathers did not escape unscathed from the beast. Our blood was tainted. We hold the curse similar to this mine within us. My great-grandfather tapped into that. Went out of control. He was a good man. Believed in chivalry more than anyone. Just like James wanted to help us, help the family. My great-grandfather truly did believe that unlocking the secrets of the blood within us would be the future. And killing his wife. Along with half a village.
You see? So that's why. And if your fight with it is to be believed, we still carry that.
Yes. The Blair family is a family of knights, a family of farmers, a family with a long history of honor and won battles, but it is also not easy. I know that. I have built what I have here, this company, this place. I've carved out a niche, and I do dream of one day restoring our honor to what it was, but it is not easy. Do you truly
No.
wish? Do you truly wish to walk? You can go off like James did. You would probably be much happier not with carrying this burden. I will take care of things here for as long as I can.
Father, I have never told you that, but the thing down there, I think I saw something of it. It's not a curse. It's a monster. And Blairs kill monsters.
You always were the toughest of my children. Perhaps it's only right and fair that you get this then. And he reaches down and moves in one of his sleeves and takes off a golden bracelet and hands it over towards you. The head of the family has
Thank you.
always had. And he stares at you with like a knowing, like a yes.
Me? Kind of like stop for a bit.
James has taken
Thank you,
his
Father.
own path.
And I will just put it on.
I'm sorry that I failed you, my James was right. I'll be leaving the next of my kin with the empire that has turned to us. Your family name besmirched. Even the family business drying up.
Father, not once in your life have you ever disappointed me.
He looks over towards you. He goes to stand up, stumbles a little bit, and then he just hugs you.
I hug him back. We should go back to the manor, eh? This is quite enough fresh air for one day.
I want you to do me a favor. If your brother does come back, please make sure the doors are. I know that what he did is unforgivable, but he is a Blair.
Hi, you'll be there to welcome him yourself.
Gaius gives a. He gives a odd expression before nodding and following you back to the manor. By the time that the campaign starts, Gaius is in a coma. He has not woken up for a very long time. People from the monastery and or the village look at him. He is alive, but, and Daigo will probably be the one to tell you this, that his life force is slowly being drained from him. But he still lays there in his bed, calm and serene. Every now and again he mumbles things to you. He is not dead yet. Leaving you unexpectedly as the head of the Blair family in somewhat of ruin.
Not a day goes by where I don't look at that mine and dream of the day where I go in and kill whatever's in there.
Yeah, so this is a rather open-ended. So, what do you do? I asked this because yeah, so the villagers are slowly starting to turn away from the Blair family because they're slowly starting to realize that it is fucking killing them. Especially because like the sickness is starting to get bad. They can stay on like the upper levels, but on the upper levels, it's pretty much been stripped already. To get to anything, you have to go deeper in, as James was saying. Eventually, you're going to be forced to go deeper in. But down there, especially after the seal has been broken, it's no good, very bad.
It's so in Liz's mind, right? It's all a game of time. She has to get strong enough, fast enough to just solve this. It's the only way her father comes back. It's the only way the mind gets cleared and they can get whatever's in there. So for now, she hard pivots. It might not be as productive or as profitable, but they have money still, some of it. And you know what? Even Musuzeme can offer something. So she just does everything besides the mine. She just closes the mine. After that day, she doesn't want to see any more people get killed. She actually cared for those miners, and that was like devastating. So she gets into logging, she gets into, animal herding, like hires some local herders. She gets into, generally some small businesses, just essentially takes the family's like enterprise, closes it down. That's a fucked up, like that's fucked anyway. And she just hard pivots,
Okay.
to like, if not try to recover, try to make the fall slow enough that she eventually will be able to get strong enough to go down there and kill it. Essentially taking a very radical economic approach because she believes that's what needs to be done.
Just as a side note, the trooper that he is, Bernard never stops coming. Even when you close the mine, he's like, miss, I could just like go in and kick a few rocks, you know.
Say, Bernard, how do you feel about lumberjacking?
Might find a way to work up a sweat.
Well then, I think I've got a 4-man job with your name printed on it.
And by the way, the just as a side note, when you decide to close the mine, the village chief probably would have talked to you. His name is Amir. Indian man with white hair. Actually, very similar white hair to Maria's. You can tell that there's like this fadedness to it. Yeah. He is the village chief of Mususeme, and he, if you had not already been thinking about it yourself, was going to suggest, like, just as a side note, I do think it would be quite nice if we maybe close the mine for now. Perhaps the village can help you earn money other ways. You've been so kind to us by giving us jobs for so long.
Of course, Mr. Amir. In fact, I'm already on it.
Yeah, and Amir is very grateful for that, because Amir just doesn't want to see his people keep dying. The same way that you don't want to see it. Yeah, exactly. So you and Amir are like completely like, yeah, sure. And so he helps, like him and Bernard's just there as always, just a trooper. He's just chilling. Him and Bernard help you a lot in getting swaying the villagers, because a lot of them were starting to see you and your family as a curse and or leeches as people started to die more and more and or be affected by the illness or the curse, whatever it is that's down there. And so Bernard and Amir try their best, and you get like a decent amount of people. It's nowhere near what it used to be, especially because the profits of selling wood aren't the same profits as selling mana crystals. But stop the bleeding in any way that you can, right? And there are many trees over here.
Yep, stop the bleeding any way you can, and hey, you know, Blair family is weakened, but we won't compromise. You know,
yes,
we will be as solid as we can until I can make that thing go away for good.
Yep. Your mother becomes very reclusive, almost similar to James, ironically, after Gaius goes into a coma. Grace is very distraught, and she is still fine, but she is a husk of herself. Like, you see her languid through the hallways of the Blair Manor. It's not great. She still says hi every now and again, but she's eating less and less, and it's not fantastic. Maria, as always, shadows both you and your mother. Wherever, like, as Grace is languidly walking the halls, Maria, with her now long white hair, is helping her. Like, if she's going to fall down, Maria is going to be there to help in the best way that she can. She also helps you in the best way that she can. She's very obedient and trusts you specifically. Like, if you tell her to do something, she is on that, like, immediately. She very much still strongly looks up to you.
I try to accommodate them both, you know, in any way that I can, and whenever I have time, definitely also try to get Maria in as good a fighting shape as I can. I can imagine she herself doesn't want a repeat of what happened to her, so...
Yeah. And as you said, you stop the bleeding. It is on a decline, a steep decline, but at least you are not dead yet. And then a certain man, very close to when the campaign starts, walks up to your door. He is alone, arms crossed back, military position. He has armaments, cybernetic implants, which is something that you almost never see here, on his left eye and on several other parts of his body. As you see him standing out there, waiting for the door to be answered. I don't trust that man, sister. Seems like bad business.
Sure does. Shall we go and see what he wants?
I'll take care of him if you want me to.
Let's hear him out first.
Maria nods. As you open the door, the man that you do not know the name of does a deep bow to you. Hello. You are Elizabeth Blair, if I am...
One and the same, yes.
Imraularia. Roll me society.
I'm actually kind of good at that, if I'm not wrong.
I think that, yeah, if I remember correctly, you're pretty good at society, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the name Raularia, and your eyes might go wide as you realize that he is at your front doorstep. Raularia is currently one of the top generals for the Ishvaldan Empire. You know that he is a ruthless man that killed his own father in cold blood and has murdered countless people under the Ishvalda as it conquers its surrounding nations.
Mm-hmm.
And he's there alone, no army, but he's just standing there menacingly.
Try to keep my composure as best I can and like face him like, eye to eye and be like, General Arya, to what do I owe the honor? Stopped by in the middle of some campaign?
No. I will be upfront with you. I want access to the ley line that your family holds secret. Maria's eyes go wide. Why do the Ishvaldans know about the ley line?
Yeah. I kind of look like him and like, I see. Well, of course, I don't exactly see any reason to refuse, but General Arya, I'm afraid you're a little late on that. You see, the ley line collapsed many years ago. There ain't nothing left down there but corpses and rather traumatic memories.
I am no stranger to traumatic memories, Miss Blair. But I understand. This meeting come out of nowhere. I will leave for today. But I would prepare yourself either for war or for a storm. Because we are not the only ones that know of your ley line. Good day, Miss Blair. As Raul Arya walks off, and in the distance, roll me a perception.
Oh boy, oh boy. Fuck.
You see many soldiers cloaked in snow that follow Arya off. You don't know why this is happening at all. It's all so sudden. Why is the Ishvaldan fucking army knocking on your door asking for your ley line?
Yep. Just look over with all the dignity of a Blair lady, close the door, and immediately start hyperventilating.
Are you sure you don't want me to take care of him, sister?
No, Maria, stay as far away from that man as you can, please. Why are the Ishvaldans here? How do they know about the ley line? Who told them about the ley line? Who? Can I do an intelligence?
Yeah, sure. Think about that. What would it be? Give me 1 second. Can you just roll intelligence on your sheet? I don't think you can.
Yeah, I can just roll intelligence.
Oh yeah, sure, do it. Yeah, sure.
Nice.
That passes. Or what I think, because there's only one way, really. Well, there's two ways, but the other one, no one's been here. No one, yeah, exactly. So there's only really one way, yeah. There's a missing person that has been out from the family for years now at this point that you have not seen in a very long time. But why he would betray the family like this is insane. I mean,
James? No way.
He
wouldn't just.
I always knew he was a traitorous bastard.
No, Maria, it can't be. He can't do the Ishvaldans? Why?
We should prepare. Arya does not seem like a man that is one for jokes. If he seems serious, then war is on our doorstep. The villagers like us enough, thanks to you and Amir's alliances, but we will need allies if we are to fight.
Kind of like, essentially, like, that's the thing where she kind of like, pulls her palm like down on her face to kind of like, center herself. It's kind of like, although, before we talk about wars or storms, we need to weigh our options very, very carefully.
And two things. One, Maria looks out the window, assuming that you follow a little bit, as you can both tell. I won't even make you roll because you've been here for so long. It seems like a blizzard is starting to form, and almost as if Raoul brought the storm with him because he's saying prepare for a storm. And then out of nowhere, you get a twinge of pain on the back of your right hand. That's all. And then I will end the pre-session there.
Oh my fucking god!
Oh,
Jesus.
there we go.
Woo.
Oh.
Oh, why were the Blairs here? Oh, because they made deals with fucking demons. Oh my fucking god.
Oh. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Oh yeah, I've only known my family for about 4 hours, but if anything happened to them, I would kill everyone in this village and then myself.
Even James?
Especially James.
Well, no. If anything happened to James, would you kill everyone?
Oh. It depends. I have some questions to ask him first.
What you will ask him in mid-session. And also, I will tell you, so for a little bit of context, James went off, and this is knowledge that I've talked about the players before, so I'm not spoiling anything. James went off to join a research institute called Pandora, which Polarisu's character is actually a part of. James is Polarisu's boss after James has left. So stay tuned to see what exactly happened to James and why in Risu's pre-session if you were hooked on the story.
Oh my god, this was so fucking good.
Oh.
Oh my god, it was amazing. Holy shit, dear! Wow, you fucking cooked there.
Of course, some tidbits here. Again, the Daigo is basically a surrogate father figure for Para's character at the monastery, and Lucille, who briefly showed up, is, well, air quotes, friends the Kaiser's character. So characters that you will see in much more detail in other in other pre-sessions will be have showed up here. James probably had more.
Sorry. Continue.
I was going to say James probably had more airtime than he will in Risu's, because he's not the main character of Risu's, where he kind of was like one of the central characters in yours. But...
how's it called? Given I did do like the fucking economic reform of the family and bought up all of herds, would that technically mean like Kaiser works for me?
We'll get to it because we'll see. Because Kaiser, Kaiser might, because
Kaiser's
a goat.
He would be. Yeah, he would get an offer.
Yes,
I guess
exactly. He'll get an offer, and it's going to be that's how it's going to be. Yeah. Is that Kaiser is going to get an offer to join you as a herder, but we'll see. Oh boy.
And the rise and fall of the Blair family. Ruin has come to our family.
Ruin has come to your family. But it seems like whenever ruin comes to the Blair family, it seems like they do it to themselves a lot.
They sure do. Although they are pretty good about cleaning up their own messes, so, fingers crossed.
We shall see. Oh, man.
Oh, that's so much stuff. Question, really quick. How much did this session go like you were expecting it to?
Mostly. I did not expect you to like James at the start. So James, there were a couple of scenes that were added in on the fly because of that. But most of the stuff happened as normal. There was a chance that Gaius died during the fight, but you guys handled that really well by going around and knocking out the lost souls. You should know that term. By going around and knocking out the the villagers and the miners. Yeah. But yeah, Gaius could have died during that fight, which would have left a little, it's a little rough.
Yeah, rough.
But either way,
now he's just in a coma and slowly dying.
Yes. Correct. Yes, Gaius is still alive for now. What did change the outcome of something? So your quick thinking in combat. Very good job, by the way. Man.
Yeah, so you guys get a little bit of a clue of what kind of spells I'll be using, but next time these buffs are going on me, so look forward to that.
Yep.
Oh, that was fun. I like the character overall. I like the general feel of the playstyle. I'll still need to learn a bit more about 5e, 2e, sorry.
Yeah.
But more intuitive than I thought it would be.
Both in character and out of character. Were there any favorite characters or characters you didn't like? Maria didn't get a lot of screen time because she was really young during your pre-session, but she will be much more. Maria will be a character in the actual sessions themselves.
Yeah.
Don't worry. And you can probably tell a little bit there. She has a little bit of a murder thing, jumping the gun thing. Well,
Yeah. I love my sister, but damn, something happened in there. Something went wrong.
I should say, Gaius or James, who was right?
Oh, fuck. I am not sure because in hindsight, I guess Gaius, right? But James was also kind of correct because if I'm not wrong, Gaius didn't really have a plan.
Correct.
Gaius just was like, well, no, we shouldn't do that, but he never really knew what he should do, you know?
Yeah, he was kind of, he just said no because it's wrong. We're not going to break the seal. But Jim was like, well, what the hell is your plan then? And your dad was like, not that.
In a very sort of she feels bad about it way, but Liz is also a little thankful that she knows it thing now, you know?
Yeah.
She knows that it can potentially be killed, you know? It's a creature, it's a monster, it's something that she can put a face and a target to, you know, a name for that target. Because before it's like, who knows? You know, now there is a conceivable light at the end of the tunnel. A far off light? Sure. A light that she probably would never reach because she's not that fucking built different, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe. But it's there.
As a side note, just a little thing for you, and this is going to be a choice that you're going to have to make during the sessions. Do you tap into the Blair family blood? Because that's a thing that you can use potentially.
Probably.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
It does seem like something she would have an affinity to.
You do, yes. It comes natural to you. Yeah. Because that's going to be the Blair, and also just for little hints here. It was stated that by whatchamacallit, by Gaius, and even by James to some extent, does the Blair family have any connection to this place or that thing that was down there, that curse? Yeah, it seemed
similar. Yep. Yeah. Which in her mind is also kind of like fight fire with fire.
Yep.
If the thing can't be killed by us, maybe it can be killed by itself, you know? Or something similar to it. So she won't shy away from that.
Ooh. All right. And as usual, I'm going to be memeing for the first couple of sessions. What the hell does the Holy Grail War have to do with any of this?
Yeah. So I mean, I understood that at the end of the twinge of the back is, oh fuck, you're master alert, yep. But what the fuck?
There was no talks about the Holy Grail War. There was no servants that showed up.
Yeah. Now that's the sign of a good Grail War, though. There's so much shit happening around it that you're like, wait, there's also a goddamn Grail War?
That is the way that this campaign will feel for a while. Yeah, because there's so many mysteries about et cetera, like the mysteries regarding the Blair family, mysteries regarding the ley line and the curse that is within it, mysteries about even Daigo. Ooh, question about Daigo. He only showed up very briefly.
Oh yeah. He showed up.
Do you think
briefly.
Do you think he lied or was wrong? Like what?
I don't know. It's a very yeah, it's a very much he seems like a smart fella, not a fart smeller, so I don't know if I don't think he would just be flat out wrong about it. But I don't know why he would lie, because lying about it only serves to get James riled up and eventually break the seal. Yep. So it's why the fuck would he even lie about that? You know, it's it feels like lying gets him to a position where he clearly doesn't want to be in. And I don't know if I guess by default, unless there's something weird going on with him, he was wrong. You know, that's the only logical solution. He just didn't know. Oh. But James also wasn't completely wrong. I mean,
he studied the curse and found some pretty, good hints and knew those things through names. So like he got some stuff correctly.
Yes, that is, yeah. At the very end, he at least knew the true names of those things. Those
Yeah.
creatures with the burning eyeball heads.
Which is another thing I never had a chance to ask him. He could be so useful in like finding out more about this thing.
Those lines are always gonna sting from Maria, who was never really a true
Yeah.
Blair anyway, and he didn't. In that moment, Sky had a moment of weakness because he was so mad at James and everything that he had done. He didn't. He did not rebuke Maria. He just let that hang, and
Yep.
James carried that with him. I will tell you, James carried that with him for the rest of his life.
I was just fucking completely traumatized there. I just couldn't really do anything.
Yeah, it's rough. James.
Yeah, it's what an interesting family situation we have going on.
Yep. And I like the way that you described it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Get used to that one. Get used to those situations. There's gonna be a lot more of them. By the way, so I know you even froze a couple of times because the decisions were so hard. I can't wait for the rest of the players to come across, because there's some moral quandaries in each and every single one of your fucking goddamn sessions.
A lot of those like freezes were definitely like in character because I was also playing a kid.
Oh man,
because I was like, you know what? She definitely wouldn't know how to fucking deal with this, and that was like, I feel like it was decently like portrayed, like the growing up.
Yes, yeah. Oh man, these pre-sessions are gonna be fun.
Man, I am so fucking like, if mine was like this, oh my god, I am so fucking excited to watch the other ones, like see what they fucking go through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Again, even seeing different parts of, like, again, Daigo only showed up very briefly.
Exactly. I'm like, what's going on in the monastery? Oh, what's up? What's Para's fucking pre-session? Oh, what's up with Pandora? What's Polarisus? What's going on with the general fucking city and potentially Goats and AKs? What's Geysers?
Yeah, because this map, I've been zoomed in for a long time for you guys, but this map is quite big. And there are many different things and secrets being hidden all around this place that the small mines in the Blair family manor have nothing to do with. There are many different things and sides of different characters that you have not seen.
Oh boy. Oh.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so fucking excited.
All right.
So, like, more or less, when could we expect this, to be up, like on the thing?
This itself?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just out of curiosity.
I was just going to release it Sunday. It can technically be done like 2 days, something like that, just to make sure that like there's no.
Because if it, I imagine like if it releases Sunday and we go Sunday, I'll be honest, I don't want to wait another month to play this.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can upload them whenever. That's fine.
Yeah. You know what could be kind of cool? Maybe uploading all 4 at once, but I don't. Maybe that's gonna kind of. Yeah, that's a lot of content.
It also depends on how, like when I actually get them done. I think I'm gonna try to get Paris done Wednesday, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Honestly, I am half fucking tempted to just ask you to just listen into that. Just to get an early access to the video.
Early access to the free session.
Yeah.
That will be very heavily focused on that mysterious silent monk, Daigo Izumo. But until then, till next time, whenever this video comes out, whenever the next pre-session comes out, I'll talk to you all later. I hope that you enjoyed this. I'd be amazed if most of you stuck with this because it was quite long. But
yeah, that was actually really long.
Yes.
Like, did you expect it to be that long? As a pre-session?
A lot of my trust me, I've had free sessions that have gone on for 8 hours. Don't at me.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yes. So please look forward to it.